am now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's the only reason I got to move from. I had an office in town because I could have fast internet there, and then when I got a hold of Elon, he said, "Hey, just put some Starlink up out there. You'll be able to go live right from your house." So I built me an office out here.
Nice.
I think
Here we
it's
go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're live.
Mike Rich is already kicking it off, and I think he's from California, ain't he?
Oh, me.
Mike Rich. If Mike Rich says it sucks, then that's what it is, I guess. Man, I got allergies.
Nice weather.
Here we go. Dandy's already on a roll here.
Oh, he just apologized early for being a dummy.
That's what I should do with my wife, is just get up in the morning and say, I'm sorry. This is for whatever I say or do today.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just leave sticky notes. That's why I always have a pad of sticky notes. So I can just leave them on her coffee, on her mirror. Sorry for whatever I did.
What's up, Missy? Miss you.
We're supposed to have John Papa. What does he go by?
Papa Johnny, right?
Yeah, something like that. How's all our volumes, guys?
The one and only.
I can hear myself.
Only Papa Johnny. He
Look
came to New Mexico.
Yeah.
And got after the bears with I don't know who is he with? Do you know, Chris?
No, I don't. Hoping he'd kind of tell us. I'm gonna brag about Missy for a second here. See all these pretty collars I got now?
Wow.
I'm a big color coordinated fan too. Like I know who has green, who has white. Missy sent me all these, and she said she had a bunch of collars.
Nice. She sent them to you?
Well, yeah, she said,
come on, Missy.
I know. I'm her favorite.
You could at least split them up and send him some and me some too.
It's true. I had people at camp trying to steal them from me, but she made them.
Coordinated is good.
She had a bunch left.
All my tracking collars, they all have orange collars, so I have to turn them on and tone them to figure out who belongs to who.
I number mine before. So even on my colored ones, I number them. So I got, where am I at?
Up higher.
Like 10. Yeah. So they all got numbers because sometimes I don't take the dogs. I keep the collar the same. So worst case, I get on my GPS and I change the name. But I always know it's number 10 collar. I used to do the same thing. And then on my names, on my GPS, it says 5, then the name.
Hey,
10 and then the
hold on. You're supposed to share. I need like 4. I need 4 more.
I told him
he won't share.
He should share. I tried to pay. I said, how much? She says, I'm not charging you. I said, no, not going to work. So now I sent her 3.
I would have paid you.
I did. I sent her 3 of my cans and 3 bars of soap. And when she's out of that soap, I'm going to send her more. I got a bunch of bear. I'm going to make some soap.
Idaho Hound
I
hunting.
need some more bear soap. I ran out finally.
Are you out of soap?
Yeah, I ran out a while ago. I need more. That stuff is great. Keeps you nice and moisturized.
Chris has never sent me nothing.
I did send you some soap. One for you and one for your old lady when I first met you. That's before I knew you.
After you knew me, you quit sending me anything.
Are we assuming that Brett uses soap?
Not very often.
He just keeps it in the forest trailer so it makes it smell good.
Look at who's here.
George is going to get on, might be later.
There he is.
In the bathroom?
Are you on the toilet?
He said he was.
No, I'm not
He's
on
not
the toilet.
feeling good.
Does look like a shower curtain behind you.
Yeah,
That's just blue paint.
You need to raise your camera up just a little bit. We just see your eye. You look real mischievous.
I think he's hiding.
There you go. Now you look all right.
He's homesick, so he's supposed to be in bed sick.
Well,
Johnny,
I
you.
am sick, so
What's
I don't
wrong with
have my
you?
tripod. I don't have my tripod with me either, so I had to set something up. So, uh,
What what's wrong?
I I thought it was sinuses when it started out last week, and I finished up a round of antibiotics. I kind of think now maybe I've got the flu.
One of these,
So
one of these will get rid of it, right, Brett?
Oh man, I got to get me one. That's become
Mine are
kind of an expensive deal you got me going on, Chris.
mine are perfect right now. My humidity's at like 80, so they're nice and soft. They smoke good.
I know
So
I know you've got a
Humidor.
humidifier
humidor.
going. Yeah, humidor. If you've got 80-degree humidity out there.
Oh yeah, I got a box. Yeah. Yeah. If you leave these out, I left one out for a couple days, and I'm like, dang it, you know. And I got a little in my truck. I have a portable humidor, but you got to keep water in it, and sometimes it can get dry, and I'll put too much water in it.
Back to the collars. You're saying how you keep track of your collars. I ordered
Mhm.
mine with all white collars, and then I use
Yeah.
a what do you call it, a marker, and I just write the names of the dogs on each one.
Yeah, I've used
Well,
markers on mine, but dogs run through the brush a couple of days here, and the wetness they wear off in like 2 days.
We don't have
yeah.
brush or wetness here.
So
Kind
I
of
got
envy
them.
that
I got
sometimes.
numbers right here, and right here. So, but it does. They'll wear out. Those reflective ones, if you write on the reflection, it will stay longer.
Really?
But the
Oh
reason
yeah,
I don't write the names on the collars is because sometimes dogs will be in heat and I'll run a puppy or I'll run something else, or they'll die, or they'll run off, or Jesus, I don't know. I quit writing names on collars, but
get abducted by a
when it
Wendigo.
yeah, when it comes to like the dogs, when I'm out camping, I have my trot line out, my leash line, and I have a third one now because Cody Lynn has her dogs, so it carries 5 dogs on each line, and they're in a square, the chains, and I put my dogs in order, so it'll be my first, second, third, and so when I'm telling my boys the collar, I know what color they get, and I know where they are. So it's kind of always the same. I try to keep it the same. Kind of OCD about that. So
Sounds
can't
like
and
tell
I
the
go
difference.
I go male, female, male, female, male, female because sometimes when you're feeding those males, you know, they'll
get a
get a
little
little. Well,
scrappy.
the female, they just do. You just got to find out who gets along and who don't.
That's
So when
that's
Yep.
that's because you got those bear dogs.
I don't have aggressive dogs. I have one aggressive dog, maybe Yucky, but he's doing real good. So the power of Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin helped me with that problem. All started with the key. It all started with the key and a kite.
That's a hard problem to break. That's a hard problem to break.
Nicholas, what the heck have you been up to?
Man, I've been in hiding. Not really.
You,
I've been writing another book.
is that a kind of a part two to the first one?
No, it's hunting
Or what?
related, but it is nonfiction and
Oh,
quite extensive. Uh, I'm not going to talk about what it's about yet because I want to get it completely finished. I'm a little superstitious when it comes to talking about stuff before I finish it because what happens is when you talk about things before they're finished, you get like a dopamine rush. You get rewarded for that. And then you're less likely to follow through with it. I've learned that the hard way over the
Okay,
years.
when you say you need to just say I. You're less likely to finish it.
Yeah, but I think it's a universal thing. I think there's been studies on it and stuff.
no, I
But
get it.
No. That you can't generalize like that.
Well, I just did.
Well, you're not. Well, you're not right.
Well,
Personally,
I gotta-
anytime I talk about stuff before I finish it and get it out in the world, I feel like I jinx myself. So I'm just superstitious about it.
Kind of like saying I'm going to go out and catch 10 bears, and you go out and you don't see one track.
Yeah, or
but
like
that's different. You have control. You have control over what you do, over what you finish.
true.
You don't have control over how many bear tracks you cross.
Or do you?
Well,
In like
some people might.
metaphysical way.
Manifestation, right?
Oh my gosh.
That's a big rabbit hole to go down. So do we get
But yeah.
any kind of, it's just hunting related?
Yeah.
Hound
And outdoors
related?
related. It's
Hound
more
re-
general. It's more broad. Not necessarily hound related.
Deer, elk,
Because
grouse, quail,
Hunting.
dove.
hunting and fishing.
We're trying to jinx you.
Yeah, he's gonna,
The reason
he's
why it's
building
not
it
out
up.
yet. So with my first book, Cat Dog Chronicles,
I got that right
what
here.
I did, I wrote it. I wrote the book. I wrote the written version, and then I published it. And then I went back and I recorded the audiobook version, and then I published that separately. This time I'm doing both at the same time. So it's just taken me a long time. Editing the audio takes for freaking ever. So, but I want to get them both out at the same time because I don't know. I feel like it'll be better to do it that way than doing them separately. So, yeah. But it's way longer than this. My first one was like 44,000 words. This one's like almost 70,000 words.
Are you going to get us a code? Are you going to get us a code so when we promote it and we sell a copy, we get like the 10% from the sale?
If I can figure out a way to do that, yeah, I would love to. I could probably. I wonder if there's a way I could do that with this one. See, I just sell these ones. I sell through Amazon, and I don't know. Like if I was just selling them on my own website.
Oh, we can get a link to it.
Really easy.
We can do a link to it.
Well,
I get a commission.
You know what? If you're in the Amazon affiliate thing, you could do it. You could do it right now.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Yep.
They give me gift card. I get gift cards. I just keep it on
Nice.
it because that's how I shop is Amazon. I hate to go to town.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
so they give me gift cards. I just bought a new set of reins for my mule, for my headstall, and something. Just in the gift card paid for everything.
When are you thinking about releasing? When is that coming up?
That's another. It might jinx him. He don't want to say.
Well, I thought I'd have it done by now, but obviously that didn't happen. Well, my first goal was August, and that was months ago. So I don't know, maybe the first of the year. Maybe I'll set a date like January 6th or
You
something.
should get it out before. Try to get it out before Christmas.
That would be nice.
Yeah, because then you could.
I don't know if I can make that happen. The problem is it's hunting season now, so now I just want to go hunting and not worry about any of this other stuff. You know, I always get myself in these other projects in the summer when I don't have anything else to do, and then hunting season rolls around, and I can't think about anything else.
Well, you should have finished it then before hunting season, huh?
Yeah.
What Brett said, it should have happened.
I know.
Well, I should have been giving you a hard. I give Chris a hard time all the time.
Every day.
Getting things done.
Oh, I give myself plenty hard enough time as it is.
So is your recording studio the same for your audio?
Yeah.
Closet?
Why? Oh no, I'm just doing it in this room.
Oh,
yeah. Because I didn't have this mic and I didn't have all this stuff when I recorded the first one. I did it on a much jankier setup, and it still sounded fine. But no, this mic, the room. Like I don't know how it sounds right here, but when I record it in here, it sounds good enough.
Do you edit the audio? Do you use a editing program? Yeah. I started using Crumple Pop by Boris, whatever Boris, has a real good. On my videos, a lot of times I get out and there's a lot of wind, and it has a real good wind remover. I mean, it's not
Pop?
Crumple Pop. It's by Boris.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, and it's fairly reasonable, but I always hated to do voiceovers on my videos because I always sounded, what's that word you use, janky. I always sounded janky or something, like it just didn't sound right. But then it has the AI, and you can put that plug in, or you can put that on your voiceover, and it makes it sound really good.
Oh, you mean like when you're out there filming at the same
when
time?
I'm out filming, yeah.
Yeah.
But even if
That's tough.
in my office here, if I try to do a voiceover in post, I just don't like the way it sounds, even though I have a pretty good mic and everything. But
yeah,
I still
all
don't like
that
the way it
AI
sounds.
stuff, man.
It's amazing.
Makes life easy. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Why do you think there's so many country singers now? None of them can sing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with auto tune and whatever else, you can just talk into a microphone and it'll turn it into music.
So, John, tell us about bear hunting in New Mexico.
Oh, I had a ball. Huh?
How long were you there?
Almost 2 weeks. Almost 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
How was
we got there? We got there on Monday. Season opened up on Wednesday, so Monday we got everything. Monday we got everything set up. Tuesday we went out and scouted, and then we hunted all week that week and left on Friday the next week.
When you say we, did you have somebody came with you, or did you just come out here solo?
Oh yeah, no, there was a good sized group of us from East Coast, I guess you would say, Virginia, West Virginia.
Yeah. From the south.
There was a guy that showed up from Louisiana that come out there with them guys. His first bear hunt he'd ever been on.
Did y'all utilize New Mexico bear hounds?
No.
You brought
East Coast bear hounds.
I'll be dang. That's pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. The bear I killed, we split up in different little groups and try to rig a track early. And if we couldn't rig a track, we'd hit a canyon or something and walk. But we were trying to rig a track early, and some of our buddies had a bear running, and they couldn't get it to go up. And they hollered that they might need some help because they were on the other side of the mountain, and we were a whole lot closer to their dogs. And so we went down there, and it was 3 truck loads of us went down there, and we kept trying to. Bear wouldn't cross the road. He wouldn't come across that National Forest road. So we kept trying to slingshot dogs in, and we couldn't get dogs to go. My buddy Seth, he's got
hold on just a
three-legged.
minute. I'll be right back.
My buddy Seth's got a 3-legged dog that when he was a pup, he got wounded pretty bad by a bear, and they ended up having to remove one of his hind legs. He was the only dog that would go.
Wow.
The other dogs were so far off that these dogs couldn't even hear them. And we kept trying to catch up with the lead dogs. And as we caught up with the lead dogs, we started to just dump the box. And about the time we dumped the box, those dogs treed. So we ended up just dumping to a tree. Well, my buddy's dog, Ollie, he goes up and turns right-handed on the Garmin, looking at him on the Garmin. What's that idiot doing? He just peels out of that canyon, hard right. And we're like, what is he doing? And a puppy takes off and goes with him. 16-month-old dog takes off and goes with him. Well, we go to the tree. The guy from Louisiana was actually one. Was it that guy? No. It was another guy from Virginia. they had come down from the top of the mountain where they had been on the other side. They come down from the top to the tree. We got that bear took care of, and they hollered and said, "We think Ollie has another bear. We need to go get caught up with him." And by the time we get out the road, Ollie has made a 180-degree turn and coming back out the top of the mountain, or made like almost a 180-degree turn and was heading towards the top of the mountain. And we get up there and Ollie pulls up tree by himself, and my buddy Roger's like, "Oh, it's probably an elk. He's running elk. I guarantee you he's running elk. He's never seen one. He's running elk. What else would he run out of that?" We got up there and it was that bear. It was that bear of mine. So we took care of it. But I sent Chris some pictures, some more pictures, Brett.
Send them to me, Chris.
On it.
We had a young lady with us that come in, and we had another guy that had been praying over the radio every morning, and he had left to go home, and they asked me to do a prayer that morning. We done a prayer that morning. Young girl was wanting to get on bareback, and I say young girl, she's a lot younger than me. She's in her 20s. She ends up killing one weight over 400 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Out there. Yeah.
Nice chocolate.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's the only black bear we treed right there. That picture right there is the only black bear that we treed. Everything else we treed 17.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's the first bear right there that we treed.
That's a pretty bear.
That was a pretty bear. It actually ended up being a sow.
Really?
Yeah, they tried to get me to come in there with that bear, and I told them, I didn't. That was the first day. I said, I don't have to kill a bear right now. And
Dang,
that's a 400-pound bear.
That's a pretty bear hunter too.
Oh yeah, she's a pretty girl, and she's going to school to be occupational therapist, nurse practitioner. Nurse practitioner is what she's going to school to be. Yeah, that's my buddy Roger right there. He's the one that owns Ollie I was talking about. That is his red tick dog Hank, I think, right there with him, and one of our other buddies' dogs. I think that was DJ.
They're still talking to him, aren't they?
Oh yeah, you get them back down there like that, and they go talking. That's my bear. We didn't get any pictures in the tree. I took that from the video. And we didn't get that good of pictures on the ground. I was so tore up and shook up. I didn't plan on seeing a bear that big.
You were excited?
Oh yeah, I was tickled to death.
This was in Arizona?
New Mexico.
No, New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico. Okay. Cool.
Northern New Mexico. That's my buddy Chris's bear. That's the one that was in the tree that you said was a pretty bear.
Yeah.
We one cinnamon bear and 2 black bears. They let the cinnamon bear go because it probably didn't weigh 100 pounds. They said.
They always look good on camera. They always look good in pictures. I've sent people pictures of a 100-pound bear. They're like, "Man, that's a big bear." I said, "No, it's not. It just looks good."
Well, Roger's bear ended up looking better than mine did. That was the one that had my buddy that had the 2 dogs there that were still barking at it.
Sometimes you get ground shrinkage.
Oh, his bear was. I mean, it was a 180-pound bear probably, and mine weighed probably somewhere between 220, 250.
It's a good bear.
I kept figuring. I figured 230. They were eating pinions, which I found out for the first time what a pinion was. My buddy that I with it had been out there before. What was that, Chris?
You bashed them too.
They're bland. They don't have no taste to them. I don't see why everybody got there.
Pine nut, right?
Roast
like a pine nut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pine nut. It's all it is, and nothing. We tried some without roasting them, but I talked to some guys that roasted them.
Isn't that what you make pesto with?
Well,
Don't you make pesto out of pine nuts?
You're talking over our head now. We don't know what pesto is.
Pesto is
you know what pesto is.
Pesto's a sauce like they dip bread in, correct?
Yeah, it's like I don't know. You can make
Use-
it's an Italian thing. It's green. It's like pine
Yeah, but
nuts
I thought
and
it was. I
parsley and
thought that's what I was
olive
going to
oil.
say. I thought it was olive oil and rosemary
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah. I've had
What'd
this. I've had this. It's actually pretty good. It's from New Mexico. It's coffee that they mix with roasted pine nuts.
That's
Yeah,
that.
I've had that.
Yeah, it's
My
pretty
buddy
good.
Seth bought some of that. They called it Pinion Blend
Yeah.
where we were at. He bought some of that for his wife. I asked him the other day if she'd tried it yet, and he said he didn't think so. So I kind of wish I'd bought a bag of it. It was kind of expensive though for coffee.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, there was this place when I lived in New Orleans. There was this little French cafe, and that's like the only coffee they sold for some reason. That's the only way I ever tried it. It was good though.
What kind of facilities did you have here? Where did you stay?
We stayed in we camped. We camped out.
Wall
And,
tents or just?
well, some of the guys had wall tents. We had a Walmart tent. We just had an Ozark Trail tent we stayed in.
What was the weather
And,
like?
The coldest temperature I remember was 37 of the morning, and then it would be like 80 by lunchtime.
So, but y'all were up in pretty high elevation then.
Yeah, we were pretty high. I'm trying to remember now. We were 9,000 feet, I think.
Oh, okay. I was going to say over 7.
I think some of it was I think some of it was around 8 or 9. We weren't too far from Colorado border.
How did you figure out? How did you know where to go? Had the people you were with been there before?
Some of them had been there before. Yeah, had been to the area before, hunted that same unit. We hunted some a little bit different area than what they hunted the last time, but they had a clue, and of course, like I said, a couple of them guys got out there a few days before we did and done some scouting, and we scouted on Tuesday before the season started. And honestly, we didn't find anything scouting. I was kind of like, this is going to be a long 2 weeks. But first day we whacked 3 bears. So
did you rig a lot of them? I know you said something about walking canyons, but did you rig a lot of them?
yeah, it's probably about 50-50. It's
Really?
probably about 50-50. Yeah. Now our dogs did have a little trouble, but some of the guys we were talking to, we run into one outfitter out there, and he was from Texas, but he said he could always come to New Mexico for bears. He said he runs cats in New Mexico, and the same problems that we had, they had. I mean, it was almost like dogs were taking backtrack, but they were going too far for a backtrack. It would just fizzle out to nothing. Just they'd be running something, and then just all of a sudden, like the dogs lost it, like it was gone.
Well, it turned its scent off.
Well, that's what I kept saying. That's what I kept telling. I think maybe one time my buddies weren't so sure, but dropped them off in a canyon, and we took the trucks and went down to kind of follow the dogs and keep up with where they were going, where the guys were going. They got to the end of this canyon, and it just flattened out, got desert-like. There wasn't anything around except for some pinyon trees, and all of a sudden they had a strike right there in the middle of nowhere, and it was 80 degrees. They had a strike, and the dogs took off, and they went out and they run like 2 big loops on the Garmin, and after they run that second loop, they just quit. They couldn't do nothing else with it, and I almost think they had a cat in.
Those bears will run those big circles and lose them dogs. I know that for sure. That's how I know it's a bear.
I'll say I always thought maybe a cat would run a circle like that, because here, of course, I mean, it's totally different terrain, it's totally different weather, it's totally different temperatures, it's totally different humidity levels. I don't see them run those big loops like that here. I've seen bears run out and run right back over their tracks, and I've seen the dogs work little circles when they're trailing a bear that's been feeding here. But like out there, like y'all told Nick, I don't know what kind of brush Nick has. Do y'all have rhododendrons or laurel bushes, Nick?
Yeah, rhododendrons, like all kinds of thick, tangled up stuff. It's terrible.
See, those they don't have that to deal with down there. Like Chris and
Right,
Brett
yeah.
they don't have to deal with that.
No,
The scrub brush is the worst thing they got.
we got cactus. Well, where I'm at, we got lots
Yeah,
of cactus, lots of greasewood.
we have manzanita. Manzanita is just it's manzanita is bad. That's probably our worst
What
nasty. Well, cat
What's
claw, but
manzanita?
we
What's
got
what's
we got thorny locust. I mean, a thorny locust. I got a video where I came off the mountain. The dogs had a lion treat. I know they did, and the thorny locust comes up after the fire, and I mean, it just tears you to pieces. Y'all
Yeah, it
be on
seems
your
like you
good
guys have.
behavior, okay?
okay?
Don't screw around. Look who's here.
Uh
the sheriff is in
It's
town.
it's the Lorax.
What have
But
you guys been doing?
you know, I mean, here, and I guarantee you it's the same way with Nick and them bobcat hunting. Here, you may have to get down on your hands and knees and crawl through some laurel thickets for hundreds of yards. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
getting up. There's no getting up and walking. There's no, you know, going around it because it'll be miles wide, and you may just have to
Yeah.
get down on your hands and knees and crawl, and that's rough. Like I really thought, as far as that went, New Mexico was a lot easier hunting. Of course, where we were at, there weren't too many. We didn't run into. I know, you know, watching especially Chris's videos that is it a cholla cactus that you have a lot of trouble with?
Oh, that's the worst where I hunt down south. Yeah.
Yeah, say you know where we were at there, we didn't have any cactus. Of course, the only like little patch of cactus that we found, yeah, I did fall in the middle of it.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's like a
when
magnet
we
for back east.
when we treat that black bear, I was helping lead some dogs out. I was helping lead this guy's dogs out of there, and that is one thing about out there. There's a lot of those loose rolling rock, and we were coming up out of that canyon, and my feet got tangled up and slipped leading those dogs out on that loose rolling rock, and I landed with my forearm dead center in that cactus, and I thought I just got some of my fingers, and I kept going on. By the time I got to the truck, I was covered from here to all the way up in cactus.
Did you have to pack those bears out quite a ways?
No, really, honestly, the furthest one was probably those guys that had that 400-pounder, and we lost track of those guys that morning because you know they went around like the way we went in. They went around kind of right-handed and went down this big canyon. They nicknamed it Smurf Canyon because the guy that found it there, that was his nickname, was Smurf. George knows him. And they had took several bear out of there already, 2, 3, 4, something like that. And we were around on another canyon. I think it's the same canyon it was the same canyon that we were treed that black bear in, and they said they had a bear treed. It was like 0.6 to the tree from where they parked at, and we lost communication with them. We never heard nothing else back from them on the radio. That afternoon, where my buddy Seth, he's like, "Does anybody talk to Bo and them? Anybody heard from Bo? Anybody heard from Smurf?" And we couldn't track none of their dogs. And I said, "Oh, they've gone back to camp. I guarantee you, they've got that bear took care of this morning because that was early, 8, 9 o'clock. You know, they've got that bear took care of. They've done went back to camp." And they hadn't. They were still in that canyon. And while we were trying to locate them, my buddy Seth on his long range antenna picked one of their dogs up down on the main highway off the foot of the mountain. And he said, "Well, they've went plumb out the bottom of the canyon and come out on the highway waiting on somebody to pick them up." So we rode down. By the time we got down there, that signal must have been somebody else's dog interfering, because when we got down there, we couldn't pick it up no more, and it popped them back up on the mountain. But what it did do was allow us to talk to them in that canyon. Then they could talk back and forth on handheld radios, and we found out where they were coming out at. And By the time we got back up there to them, they'd made it to the truck. They were asking for help because they were hot and tired and without water and everything else. But it was
Did y'all get all
Crazy.
did y'all get all your dogs back every night?
Oh yeah,
Did you?
yep. Didn't have any trouble getting dogs back. There was one guy that tried to catch my buddy's Elvis dog. I was telling them, Brett, I don't know if you heard it, but he's 3-legged dog. He got tore up by a bear when he was a puppy, and my buddy was hollering for him in the canyon, and he got to hearing. He didn't even know there was a road above him, and he got to hearing another guy go to hollering for him, and the guy got to hollering, "Hey, moron, come here, come here!" And the dog was going to him, and he toned the dog and got the dog turned around and come back to him. But he said,
Was it a guy in your group or some random guy?
Some random guy.
I'm sure he's a local.
Oh, jeez.
Did you bump into many locals?
Yeah, we bumped into some locals. We had one guy that wasn't too happy with us for running hounds.
How about other hound hunters that weren't too happy about you being in their backyard?
Killing all their bears.
Huh?
I think so. I think we had maybe an outfitter or two that wasn't too happy with us.
Any words or anything, or just
no? But you get that feeling. They want to know if you got dogs. They come up before daylight, want to know if you got dogs on the ground or anything like that. But
you say no. We abide by the rules.
Yeah, we got. My buddy told him at that one morning. He said, "No, sir." He said, "We got about 28 more minutes before we can turn the dog out." And he said, "So you don't have any dogs down that canyon?" We said, "Nope. What we're waiting on is daylight." And we did. We waited on daylight that morning. I found some cat sign there. Found some old cat scrapes. Of course, Bency, showed me what a cat scrape looked like out there. So I found some. They were old, though. You could just tell they were old.
You guys walked.
You can't turn. You can't turn out until daylight.
Unless you're hunting coyotes.
Oh, okay.
Daylight. You can turn out like in Arizona, as long as light enough to see what you're hunting, you can turn out.
I think it was out there. Of course, it changed every day. It had, it was a sunrise thing, and I think it was actual sunrise. I know some states you can turn out 30 minutes before.
Yeah.
Daylight. But I think New Mexico is daylight. And of course, their DWR has a table of what daylight is. I think that particular morning I'm talking about was like 6:28. We had to wait till 6:28.
In the old days, you didn't have your cell phones that went off GPS, so if your watch was 10 minutes fast, I guess your watch was 10 minutes fast, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, you get that one game warden that's got that clock set just right with the, and he happened to catch you. I'm sure you'd have to go to court and argue it. But that particular morning, though, my buddy Roger, the one I've always bragged about his dog being so cold nose, he struck a track, and we waited. We had to wait like 18 minutes or something, and that's the morning I found the cat tracks up on a mesa, and so we were trying to figure out. We were looking in the dirt all over the side of the road, trying to figure out which way this bear was going, and I finally told him. I said, "Just get Buford down, get him on the lead, and let's start walking him and see which way he wants to go." And we did, and all of us left the truck. Well, almost all of us left the truck walking out, trying to figure out where he's going, the way he's wanting to head. And we were looking for a dirt track. It got out there, and he could smell it. It got time to turn loose, and we turned him loose. And that bear had come back behind the truck while we were away from the truck, had come back 20 yards behind the truck and crossed the road on us. We found his track.
I don't doubt that.
In the dark. He had come right back. And they argued with us that two of the guys argued with us. Oh, it's a sow and a cub. It's a sow and a cub, because the way his track rolled up on the edge of the road, it didn't collect all of his track, and it looked small. And I said, "That's not a cub. It's too wide to be a cub. It's just not his whole footprint on the road." And that's that bar that he was holding the two dogs on the lead and they were barking at it. So I mean, it was about a 180-pound bear, but
No trash races.
I would move to New Mexico. Have any what races?
Trash races.
Nope, we didn't have a single trash race. We were expecting those, especially those dogs that had never been out there, to trash on an elk.
Mm-hmm.
On them bull elks where they were in rut and bugling. They never even. We drove right past bull elks of the morning, on the way in, and then some of the evenings. They never offered to even let a bark off the box at a bull elk. So those dogs those dogs did really good. Yeah, I can brag on them because they're not my dogs. Those dogs done really good. Yeah. Every dog I seen, really good. So.
How many dogs you guys have out there altogether?
Oh, altogether, Chris, I don't know. I would have to sit down and think about it. We took
30?
So a lot.
A lot. Yeah, 30 probably don't touch it, Chris.
Dang.
We took. See.
Well,
Roger had.
Just with me.
We probably had my group of 4 guys that I was with, that I spent the whole time with and hunted together the whole time with. We probably had. I think we had about 10, maybe 12, but I think about 10. But two of them were puppies. 2 of them were dogs that have no experience. Well, 3 of them were puppies, had dogs that have little to no experience.
But they got to chew on some bear, right?
Oh yeah, they got to chew on some bear.
They had experience when they left.
Yeah, I like it.
Just me and my group.
My one buddy with the two pups, his didn't make it to a whole lot. I think they made it to 1 or 2 trees, but it was just the way things fell with those puppies and where he had them at the time. But now the other puppy that was with my buddy Roger, Snoopy, he's seen his fair share of bear out there.
I had a guy. I'll read this later because everybody he's looking for books. Like just with me, my buddy, my dad, my daughter. I had another buddy out there. I think I bring 10 dogs easy. But with my daughter, she brought her 4 dogs. We had 14 just with me and my daughter. And then my dad had 6 or 7. Rodney had 6 or 7. And then Jacob had 6 or 7. And that's just a little group, So that's a lot. How many dogs did you guys take out every day? Did you take out a whole bunch, all of them, or you just take out a handful, kind of rotate?
We took them all out, but they all didn't run every day.
Yeah,
they all didn't run every day, and that is one thing out there. The ground out there is rougher on those dogs' feet than what we run here. Mm-hmm. That's sandpaper ground out there. Really, is what that is.
How'd they do?
How did their feet do?
They done okay. We doctored their feet if they needed it.
What'd y'all do? What'd y'all doctor them with?
Those one guys, I don't know what they had. They had some kind of paste that they were rubbing on. I can't remember what the name of it was. And
pine tar.
Paws are protected.
Wasn't like. I don't know. It was a little white container. I saw them putting it on.
I use pad.
Use what?
Pad heel. Has a
pad heel,
just a little and has a red top on it.
Got a brush on it, like turpentine type stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Now what we've got pad heel here, but I don't know if it's got anything different. But I think it's got a gray top on it, and it's just a brush. Smells like turpentine. That's what we used on the dogs that we actually had with us. I did see one guy with pine tar. He just had pine tar with him. I don't know if he had anything mixed in it or not, but it was just a jar of pine tar.
Musher's Secret. That sounds pretty good.
Musher's Secret. That's exactly what it was. What it was.
There you
go. It was. And
the stuff I use is, I think it's lanolin and beeswax. And that stuff is awesome. It like kind of soaks. It doesn't make their pad harder at first. It keeps it kind of supple,
pliable,
so that it doesn't bust open. And I found that if I just do that, put that on a couple times, before I start hunting a lot, as long as their paws don't bust, they'll be good for the whole year, really. But it's like if I if I run them hard without doing that, their feet get tore up on the gravel roads, and then it's just like they have a hard time healing after that. So as long as I do it, doctor them up well ahead of time, it like their feet get really tough and seems to work good.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
If you could use bag balm and do basically the same thing.
Yeah. Well, most of that.
You know what bag balm is, Chris?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I got a can of it. I always carry a can of it. But most of that, all your stuff, the pad heal and all that wound care, most of that stuff is all oils. If you look at the ingredients, it's just oils.
Like petroleum, yeah.
Yeah, so same thing. I do what Nick does. Before I go hunting, especially the week before, I'll go out there and put some pad heal on them once a day. Get them, and it does. And you think they need to be callous, but they need to be soft almost. In the old days, man, that rancher I used to go hunt on his ranch down there in Tonto Basin, he bred them Labradors and those Catahoos or curs, and those dogs ran behind my truck 20 miles a day. They'd follow me everywhere I went. And next day, they'd do it again. And that's Tonto Basin. That's all sandpaper too. And those dogs had tough. But look at a coyote. Coyote runs all day long. I doubt. What was your longest run? Did you have some long runs?
45 minutes.
Jeez.
Oh, spoiled.
That's what happens when you got good dogs.
Maybe that's what it
Those
is.
dogs, honestly, the one run I'm thinking about, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, was Ollie by himself with my bear. That was probably the longest run that we were actually ourselves in on. We treed several bear down there that after we know they got the bear up 20 minutes.
Sounds like a game-rich environment.
Yes, it does. Makes me want to go bear hunting.
We have more trouble here treating a bear here, and I can take you some places here because and I've heard Brett talk about it. That what he didn't like about bear hunting was those just run all day races. We've got bear here that there's a place called Glade Mountain here, and one of my buddies, when you ask him what y'all guys do today, he'll say the Glade Mountain 500 because there's for whatever reason it is little bear heaven. There's little bears in there, 100-pound bears, and they have their Nikes on, and they will run. And that mountain's got a road that goes all the way around it, like horseshoe shaped. And you come back to the hard top, and you got to go back down, hit a main highway, come back up to go back in on the other end of it. And you just go around in a circle up there all the time. Now, there have been big bear treed there and big bear killed out of there that I know about, but that Glade Mountain area, my buddy Ethan calls it the Glade Mountain 500 when you go up there.
Benny, you don't have to utilize the comment section. You can go ahead and talk. We'll let you.
No, he's got a good story. I'm not gonna interrupt him.
Well, one of the problems of the country that I was hunting up there was it's so steep and so bluffy, and there's no roads. It's hard to get around in, and it was just hard to stop those bears going up those big old steep canyons.
We that first bear we treed that morning we put on it, and like I've told you before, Buford's got a good nose on him, and he makes a cold track sound too good sometimes. And I kind of wondered, but everybody's like, well, Seth and Roger's like, well, I'm going to put my dogs behind him. And Seth, well, if you're going to put yours behind him, I'm going to put mine behind him. They ran out across this canyon, and they got to a rock, I want to call it a rock bluff, but it was just a rock wall in that canyon. And we drove up and around, rough road on that mountain. We drove up and around. And the dogs were barking a little, but they weren't barking great, and they were acting like they were hung up. And Seth said, I'm going to go out here and see what these dogs are doing. You stay at the truck in case we need you to come and bring it around. So he goes in, and the next thing I know, I mean, he's not in there long at all, 15 minutes, something like that, and the dogs tire out of there. I mean, they just shoot right back up a canyon. They go 6/10 of a mile and tree. What we think happened was we think that those dogs trailed that bear to that rock wall, and she was laid up in there asleep or resting, you know,
Oh, okay.
where it was going to be warm. And think when Seth went down in there, and he started helping a few dogs around that rock, but we think what happened was him going down in there and kicking a few rocks out made her come out of there. Because that's the dogs just, when that happened, they didn't take off out of there. They blew up and took off out of there. And it was a little rough getting into where they treed at, and I was on my way in, but she come out when I was 100 yards from a tree. And I was the closest hunter that wanted to harvest a bear to a tree. My buddy Seth had he's harvested one bear in New Mexico. He didn't want to do nothing but run. He had a tag in case he had to use it, but he just wanted to run. And those dogs went right back down the canyon, 600 yards, and treed right in the bottom of that canyon, right dead center in the bottom and flat.
Big old pine tree.
And, yeah, that's that picture you said was that real pretty bear.
Yeah.
In that tree, she treed up in that pine tree, and that's where she ended at. But it is just that those were two. They run that bear twice, but those were two really short races. It took me longer to get out of the woods than it did to get back to the truck than it did for them to tree her again. They treated her in just less than 20 minutes. You know how fast a dog can cover 6/10 of a mile. So.
Oh, yeah.
Hey Brett, let me cut you off real quick. Dandy said you can't take a dog from the desert and run it in the laurels of the east, and you can't take a laurel dog to the desert. What do you think Cody King would say about that comment?
I was just talking to Cody. He's going to come down here because I have access to the other side of the river now, and I sent him a video. And if you ever watch any of Cody's videos, he sends them to me all the time. And that area right on the other side of the river looks just like where he hunts down in Texas. I mean, it's brushy and stuff. And I sent it to him and said, hey, do you think you can catch a bobcat down here in this country? He said, well, it looks the same. He said, I want to try. So he's going to come down in January and do that. But they told him the same thing about up there in Oklahoma. They said, you can't. They said, oh, this country, it's too thick and brushy and this and that. You can't catch a bobcat in here. And by golly, I made that video. We loaded up and went up there, and I filmed it for 2 days. And he caught 2 bobcats in 2 days, and on the third day, we were going to catch another one. And I forget what happened. It got late. They didn't, they just trailed it for a long ways and couldn't get it up and running. But yeah, no, I think running bobcats as many, if the that's one thing we debated talking yesterday was about how dry it was. I showed him how dry it is, and he said, well, I'm not sure, we can do that in that country. He said, but I want to try. So that's kind of the limiting factor right there is it might be brushy, and it might, because those dogs run when the bobcats are going through that brush, they're running it on the, on the brush more or less. And, I guess if it's too dry, it's just not going to leave any scent. I know I've caught a handful of bobcats, but it's always pop-ups. It's not, we don't do any trailing on them hardly. We can trail them up in those rocks for a ways, but down here, where I've caught them, it's usually just a pop-up.
I think a good dog's going to catch them either place, though.
And that's what I was thinking about Cody's dogs. If anybody's going to catch them, Cody will, because he catches over 100 bobcats a year down there. And they, those dogs are as straight. Matter of fact, he had to talk them into running lions. He couldn't get them to run lions. He had to work at them to get them to trail line. And
Brad, is that over on the Armanduras?
Where's that? Oh, no, on the river? No, it's right here. I've caught 2 lions down here on the river. And I think historically that river has always been like a travel route, but there's no place I can really hunt it until they let the water out of the river. And I imagine if they, I probably shouldn't be saying this on this podcast, but I imagine if they catch me going across the river in my buggy, they might stop that. I don't know. But yeah, it's a cool place. You know, it attracts a lot of game there. Matter of fact, I should show the video. I caught a javelina down there the other day. We were trailing a bobcat or a lion, and I had young. Of course, I always got young dogs with me, and I had a bunch of young dogs with me, and those dogs trailed up around, and a little old javelina popped up out of a rock, and things went haywire after that.
You had the terrorist with you?
Yeah, I had the terrorist. The terrorist didn't run it until they caught it in the hole, and but I had the bean dog. I was really impressed with the bean dog. He's a half brother to the dog that sold for so much money up there in Farmington that sold for $17,000. What was it, Benny? $17,800, something like that. Yeah. And he's a half brother. And I hadn't been giving him much credit for anything. He's a real pleasant dog to be around. He's a little barky, you know. He barks a little bit in the kennel, but man, he was trailing. He was really working, and I had misjudged him for a long time. He's just not as trashy as my other hounds. My other dogs trashing on you know, stuff. But Bean's the one who, when that bobcat or when that javelina got up and took off, all bets were off. Bean said, "I'm after that sucker," and they put him in a hole down there. I got a pretty cool video. I stuck my camera way down in the hole and got down in there, and that javelina came after me, popping his jaw. But I didn't even shock him. I did. That Jack dog that's half running walker out of Cody's stuff, I did shock him, and the other ones I just toned them, said, "Hey, let's go," and got them out of there. They knew better. They didn't. They were just. It's been a long time since they really. Well, the lion, I caught that lion here a couple months ago, I guess. But anyway,
we're also talking.
Do you think
bear too? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think the dogs have any difficulty adapting to the higher elevation? Because
their lungs.
You can't just go from like people who train like at sea level. You can't just go to 9,000 feet and expect to run a marathon.
It takes a couple of days, I think.
Watch out, guys.
First couple days.
We got a real bear hunter joining us now.
Oh, there it is.
Snap.
There he is.
What's up, George?
Oh, howdy. I can't be but a minute. I'm actually parked outside my mother and father-in-law's, getting ready to head back home. But I hopped on, seen what y'all doing, so I figured I'd try to hop in just real quick.
The OG crew, the original crew, right here.
What I did is I put everybody's face on there, so they had to show up.
Yeah,
you got me.
Nick said, "You put my face on there. I got to go now." I said, "That was my plan."
When are you going to be putting some videos up, George? Are you getting lazy?
I'm getting very lazy. As far as the editing, I treed two bears this morning. Did
you get good video?
Normal, not really good, but you know.
Were you on mules or were you walking or?
No, this morning, the dog smelt it. I rigged it from the truck. So I rigged the one from the truck, and they trailed it a little ways, and then once they jumped it, they didn't go nowhere and treat it. And I walked in, got them, and then when I was on the way back to the truck, they struck another track, and I cut them on that, and then, of course, I lost them on the Garmin, so I got back to the truck, and when I finally found them, I don't know where they went, but somehow they treed the second one.
I know you've been putting up some really cool videos on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm trying to steady just to make sure people knows I'm around, but then at the same time, you run into the thing of I don't want to put too many bear videos up because then you'll end up people knowing where you are and what you're doing every day.
They'll be driving down there to catch some of your bears.
Yeah, so it's a hard line to, you don't know exactly where I should be in that.
Yeah.
Does that happen where people show up in your spots?
Well, this year here I'm hunting West Virginia right now. but there's some places the feed is a little spotty, so which is making the bear a little bit hard to find at different places. So if you find the bear, then you either want people you. I don't know. I'm getting off in the weeds here. We better change the subject.
Because I was going to say, you know, like I haven't put up a ton of videos, but I literally have had, I guess it's only one person, but sent me an email and he was like, I know exactly where that video was shot. And I was like, prove it. And he sent me the coordinates. I'm like, damn it. You got me. Hunters have a keen eye, man. You know, you show a certain cut bank on the side of the road and you can, some people will know where that is. I'm like, good job.
I've caught myself doing that before. Somebody posts a video that, you know, that I know from up in the higher country. I don't have to worry about it down here in this desert, but up there in that higher country. And man, I'll start slowing it down, pausing it, trying to figure out exactly where they're at, you know, more out of curiosity than anything.
Yeah.
I know a guy that figured out a very prominent YouTube hunter, a place that he had for a honey hole. He figured out where he was hunting at after a certain species of animal.
Did he show up there?
Oh yeah, it's national forest, so he went and had him a day of fun too. So he and the thing about it is this guy is a very prominent YouTube hunter, and he always no. I'm not gonna say yeah or no about know who it is. So don't ask because I can't lie. So don't ask. I mean, he's very good about blotting road names out, blotting road signs out. You can't figure out where he's going. He drove by a house, and the guy said, "I know where that house is.
I've seen that house before.
I know where he's hunting."
Have you seen there's these videos of these, I don't know, they're called like geolocators or something, but they basically someone will say, they'll show them like a snippet of like a bridge somewhere, and then they'll go on Google Maps or Google Earth and they will pinpoint exactly where it is. They can just like, you know, deductive reasoning, figure out exactly where that spot is.
There's a lady on TikTok. Guys. There's a lady on TikTok that does that. They'll send her a video and say, "Can you guess where I'm at?" And they'll, you know, she will literally go. I would love to hire her as an investigator. She would literally go and see a picture of she calls it their pooper, where they take a dump. I'll find where you take a dump. And she will, and then she gets on, like, she'll find out exactly where, and then she'll start going, she'll catch their Facebook or their Instagram, find out, because everybody posts pictures in front of their house or somewhere, to where you go to Zillow, where the house had been sold before. Right. And then she's really good at it. She's a real crazy lady, funny as heck, but no, that's no lie. And there's who was that? Buff Lachey, or what's that guy's name? Plays on Transformer, Shia LaBeouf, whatever. I guess he hung a flag. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
And they took the picture of the stars that he had when he filmed that, and found where that flag was, and went and took that flag from the stars.
Smart people out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're hunting an area, like I hunt 3B, I'm not gonna. Everybody knows I hunt 3B. So if I see a video on 3B of someone, I'm like, damn, I know where that is. You know, because when you see those odd trees or those odd formations, those roads, rocks, you're gonna know. But if that guy knows where that house is, that means he's already hunting over there anyways. So.
Yeah, but you're a social butterfly. You want people to come hang out with you.
No, I don't. That is not true. At my last camp, when I camped a couple weeks ago, I told everybody's welcome back next year to this camp. I don't know where I'll be, but you guys can come back here and camp.
There you go.
But you know, but we was talking about bear hunting, and it's different bear hunting too, because bears are a little bit more stinkier when we get into lions and bobcats. But where Johnny was hunting there, did you have a real good, using the pinions? So did you have a good food source? I mean, that was a lot of bears.
Pinions were loaded. I mean,
That's why.
I will say now, and the only reason I can say that and say because somebody could say, well, you're not from out there, you didn't know what opinion was before this year. I can say that because the locals said the opinions hit hard, and they were
Yeah.
people out there. They were
Gathering 'em.
Hispanic people and Native Americans out there. They were Brett. They were so thick that they weren't just picking them up; they were raking up pine needles and all.
Yeah.
Putting them
Benny
in a
might
bucket.
correct me. Maybe Benny knows. And I think the pinions, I mean, they're like on a 3 or 4 year cycle, I think, before you have a real good pinion crop. Maybe longer than that. I can't remember.
And you'll know
Those
if you're
guys-
crop, you could sit on a hill, look out, and the pines are the cones are so thick. It looks like autumn. It looks like autumn back here
Yeah.
because it's just covered.
They were. We were told this was the first year in several years that they had hit heavy there, and they hit
Yeah.
really heavy. And you know, we didn't know what they were, and my buddy said I got to figure out what opinion is this year, and so he's driving, and I Google a picture, and I'm like, I believe that's opinion. Let's look at it, and we got to looking, and that's how we found out what the opinions were. The oak brush had good acorns on it, but it seemed to me like they really wanted. I really feel like the buyer wanted the pinion more than they wanted the oak brush.
Well, the pinions are real high calories, right? A handful's like, or 15 pinions, like 1,500 calories or something out of control. It's really high in calories.
Yeah. We haven't had a good acorn crop down here up in where my camp was. We haven't had a good acorn crop in forever, it seems like.
It has
they had pretty good. Those scrub acorns were good, and let's see, that one pile of Barcraft we found, it was prickly pear, but and they said they thought that buyer was eating nothing but prickly pear, but I don't know where that buyer was getting those prickly pear because I didn't see that many prickly pear there. You know, it's not like it was when I was in you know, down around El Capitan last year where there's prickly pears everywhere.
And the bears get on that up here. That's what they get on is the prickly pear, and then they'll get on those juniper berries too.
Well, there's a guy on here. Todd commented. I wasn't too far from Southern Colorado, Todd. So
there's my buddy Todd. I didn't say hello to him earlier. He said hello. So hello, Todd. Thanks for coming over.
So do the elk and the deer really like the pinion nuts too?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Benny's shaking his head no.
No.
They go more for the brush oak acorns.
Yeah, they'll eat the acorns, but you know they're not grass eaters. I guess the elk will, but the deer, they'll go to the oak brush and eat the leaves.
Now we've seen all kinds of game out there, guys. This is the first time I ever realized that, because somebody like me that grew up here in Southwest Virginia, where the only time I ever seen an antelope, a pronghorn, was on TV. I didn't realize pronghorns lived in the mountains. I thought they lived in the flat open prairies.
I thought they did too.
We found all kinds of pronghorn in the mountain up there.
Really? I'll be damned.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I didn't know they lived up in the mountains. I thought they lived down in the prairies.
Well, I did too.
That doesn't make any sense.
I was just fixing to say, well, you probably went through Clayton or somewhere down through that open country on the eastern side, and that's where you've seen all the antelope. But
wouldn't that be? We took I-40 all the way to Klein's Corner.
Then you turn north.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but you get antelope
because I've been kept.
You get antelope. I
plan on talking George into going out there sometime. I've got to get George out there.
Yeah, get George out here. I'll go up there and I'll do is video you guys.
His dad loves it out west so much anyway that I believe that I can get Big George to twist his arm a little bit and we'll get him out there one day. Listen to him laugh. Them bears is fun to tree, George. I was telling them earlier, we treat the bear out there easier than what the group of guys here at the house can tree of black bear here. I mean,
Really?
Yeah,
Is there
we had
a
a
lot
lot
of
of 20-minute. Had a lot of
roads up
20-minute races.
Really?
there? You got
There's a lot of roads. A lot of roads. You don't want to take a good. You don't want to take a real good full size truck on those roads. My buddy Roger bought a brand new Silverado this past year, crew cab, or it may be a double cab. It's got the 4 doors on it now, but had running boards and stuff on it, and he tore his running boards off first day hunting, going across some of those water breaks.
Yeah, you can't have running anywhere in Arizona or New Mexico.
He had to take those running. He took his running boards off after he got home. I found a bungee cord one of the days we were scouting, and we thought we seen a track in a mud bank, and we got out to look at it, and I found a bungee cord, and I said, "I'm gonna keep this. We might need it." And I ended up strapping Roger's running board back on his truck so we could keep moving.
George and Nicholas need to post more hunting videos. I miss their videos. Slack.
Hey, Brett, how do you think? Brett, how do you think their bear hunting would go in the Black Range? There's not as many roads.
There's a lot of bears. There's no roads in the Black Range.
There's a lot of bear. And if you wanted a bear of a different color, I think those bears are painted specifically just in that country.
Yeah, we got we got some really neat. What?
The ones with the black legs and the yellow backs.
Well, yeah, or I got
or vice versa.
I got a real good picture of a blonde. A blonde bear. I mean, there's really good color phase. That I lived up there. I had that place for 10 years up there, and I only know one guy came up there and he hunted for 2 days and he left. And just because you just got one road that goes in there, and it's about 8 miles, and you go in there, and then everything takes off. The bears, if they had run down, that'd be better. You could catch them down there, but they turn and they go, and everything is just big canyons that go straight up. And they all head up towards Hillsborough Peak, and there's no roads in that country, and there's no trails. And there are some cowboy trails, but they're tough to get up and down. So you spend all your time fighting to get up through there. And, and I never had, good bear dogs like you guys have. And, but still, that Mike Dillard came down there and hunted with me, and Mike has real good bear dogs. He went all over the country hunting, and, he had a hard time. I mean,
but to go in there and catch a color phased bear and the markings that those bears are so unique would be worth it just to make it one trip.
Well, yeah,
we were told about one blonde bear in the area we were at. That one outfitter that we run into. He said there was a blonde bear there with black legs, and he said I've run him a couple times, but he always outruns us. He said, and I think I can get him tomorrow. And when we talked to him, he said, no, the bear outrun him again. He said he done had him picked out for a client. Said he was blonde bear with black legs.
But yeah, the Black Range bears are every color from real light color blonde to a cinnamon and a red and browns and black, and it's just a mix of colors.
Man.
If I could get, like, if I want to say the bear that I would love to have mounted in my house, it would be a real red cinnamon bear. Those are the prettiest, I think.
I've treated a couple real red cinnamon bears.
I was tickled to death with that dark chocolate. Tickled absolute death. They tried to tell me that bear was black, and I said, no, he's not. He's dark chocolate.
You guys got, George, is black bears. You guys back there? You have a lot of color fade? Pretty black. Your bear?
Everything is black. I caught one years ago that had a little bit of hint, but I wouldn't even call it a color phase. It just had a little bit browner tint to it. But no, I wouldn't call it even rare. It's almost impossible to catch a color phase here.
But big old white patches on their chest.
We do got the white patches. That's
I want
pretty.
one of those. I want one of those because I don't see them here ever.
That's
Are the
what I was
different
going to
colors
ask.
from what they eat?
I
How do they get the different colors?
I think it's genetics from
I think it's
blending in. From blending in.
Ours have a lot of grizzly bear in them. That's why they're hard to catch.
See,
all right.
you know that there is an Arctic. There's an Arctic blue color face of the black bear. Glacier color face.
That has silver in it. It's like silver.
Yeah, it's kind of bluish silver. Look it up. Google it. I'm telling you, it's gorgeous. Glacier blue. It is. Yep. It's beautiful bear. And I think they're
Where do you have to go to find one?
I think Alaska, but I can't say for sure. I think Alaska.
I know there was a guy that worked on the res back a long time ago, like I think the 50s, 60s, and he said they used to catch those bears that had kind of humps on their backs, almost like a grizzly bear, and there was a black bear. And he swears that they were, and he was a biologist or something, like he worked for the state or whatever, or for the reservation, and he swears they did have some grizzly mix in with those back in the day. So,
well, let me ask you this: what about the color phase? You don't see a lot of white patch in the color phase, do you, or is it just where we were at?
In Arizona, where I hunt myself, I've never had a white patch ever. I've heard people say there are some, but I've never personally caught a white patch bear. Not like California, where their whole belly's white.
Mine had a white patch, just not big, maybe an inch and a half wide, 2 or 3 inches tall, right in the center of his chest. So maybe it is Idaho. I can't remember, but that Idaho hunter talked about treating a blue bear. But the glacial blues are beautiful.
I got a picture here somewhere. I don't know where
George, you got any exciting going on up there besides a little bit of bear hunting? Is your kid keeping you pretty busy right now?
So yes, but I'm pretty much just bear hunting every day.
Oh,
so far. So by the time I, get going at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and then get home 3 or 4 in the evening after walking or whatever, and then then running into town or whatever, I really just ain't had time to sit down and upload videos. It takes about all my time just to download footage and footage in the evenings.
Well, that's the problem. You get so much on there and you start downloading, and then you got to go through it. Like my 2 weeks out when I went 2 weeks straight, man, I bet you I have 15 hours of video, 2 cameras. I'm still going through it. I'm still trying to edit a video, and that was 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, it takes. I mean, the other Sunday I sat down for hours and just tried to arrange my footage, just get it all situated, and filed away.
That's what I did the first week. Now I'm trying to edit it.
Yeah.
Is that one of those ones, John?
Yeah. See, I look at this stuff all the time because I don't get to hunt like George does and stuff like that with bear, but I've been obsessed with bear hunting since I was a little kid, and I wasn't raised in a hound family, that hunted with hounds. I didn't even know bear hunting with hounds was a thing till I was in my 20s.
Better watch your backside there. You're about to get ate alive.
That's my Boston baby. She ain't gonna do nothing. She just wants to be petted.
She wants to be on the show.
She wants to be petted. She's getting old. I think she's 10, Tammy. Yeah. She's 10.
Where's my first wife?
She's mean.
I'm getting old too. I need to be petted.
Well, listen, guys, I'm gonna get off here. I've about had it. So, George,
well, thanks. Good to see you, Johnny. It's good to see you again, John.
It's good to see all y'all guys. Great seeing all you guys. Nick, I'll be looking forward to seeing that book come out. Maybe I need to write a book.
You do.
I'm going to try to start.
They should.
Wait.
I can't spell my name, Nick. I've got this little Feist dog that I'm working. that I'm going to try to work with. I've not really had any time to work with her, but she's been out on her own. I hear her treeing on something every once in a while, and I get to her, and she's kind of give up on it, but she's just, she's not even a year old yet, but she's looking up after she gets through barking. She's trying to figure out what's going on, I think. So
you need to write a cookbook.
Well, I asked Johnny
why
he was cooking this bear, and he answered me. What was that answer there, Johnny?
That bear's still in New Mexico.
Didn't get to bring it home.
I heard, and we were told too that those New Mexico bears didn't eat like Virginia bears. I don't know.
Oh, no, they got a little more chili in them.
They got a little more chilies in them. They might have more flavor than, but
a little more spice.
Yeah, I tell you what, we found a gas station out there that we got hooked on eating burritos at. Oh my gosh, they had the
burrito.
The first day I ate a bean, and it might have had beef in it, but I think it was just bean and cheese burrito. The next day, I got the same thing my buddy got. It was beef, cheese, and green chilies. Oh my gosh, that burrito was so good. Now the third day, I got that burrito again, and those chilies had come out of a different batch. They were a little bit hotter. I couldn't finish the whole burrito. I got set on fire. So, but it's good seeing you guys. I'll talk to you again soon.
Good seeing you.
Good.
Yeah.
George,
save that link.
You there?
They're back. I was going to say that Elon was cheating me there.
George, what you got coming up in the future? Just bear up.
So basically, I am working on a video right now, and I'll have it out. Basically, all it's going to be is just a short video, kind of telling where I've been, what I've been doing, and just probably whole pile of like 5-second clips of upcoming videos. Just the highlight type thing.
Yep.
A highlight trailer of mountain mules and bears, or what's the name of your channel?
Mountain Music and Mules.
Mountain Music and Mules. There you go. Cool.
So, no, I got another, well, up till Thanksgiving, I can bear hunt pretty much every day. And then our rifle season comes in. So I'll give it up for 2 or 3 weeks. And then in December, then I can start hunting again every day until our bear go away.
Good deal.
So,
get some videos out. We're ready.
That's yeah, exactly. That's what I need to do.
Easier said than done. Brett's always on me every day. Treat it like a job.
I'm going to tell you, just like I tell Chris, you got to treat it like a job.
It's true. It is so true.
If you don't,
lose your passion.
If you don't, you'll say, I'll wait until next week, and I'll wait. I imagine you've been doing that for a long time now. But
yeah, well, and see, so here's literally what my problem is. So I've got my footage is nearly, if I keep doing it in a row, then I got to go all the way back nearly 2 years.
Wow.
So, and that footage is so old, so it ain't real fresh in my mind. So I don't, it's hard to get into it.
The story is not there, and you're fresh in your mind.
No. So I got it. I'll pull up the day from a year and a half ago, and then I gotta look at all my footage and figure out what actually happened that day, so I can make the story out of it. So it kind of takes the fun out of it, versus if I videoed, like if I put out the hunt from today, which is fresh in my mind, then it would be a lot more easier. So I really ain't sure how to handle it or what to do.
Call me sometime, and I'll let you in on what, like a formula that you can use, that where you film every video similar, so exactly. It makes your editing and everything else easier and faster, and it works.
I'll do that. Yeah.
So I know, because I'm the same way. I just go out and I would just film. And I get back to the office or footage, and I think, what in the world? How do I put this together where it's understandable? And you got to pick through it, and you got to watch it all, and it gets frustrating.
Yeah. Well, and it'll be neat too if I keep all my footage in order. People can watch my young dogs progress. So that's why I hate to go ahead and jump ahead, because then when I do get to the footage from a year and a half ago, then it'll be back to some of them little bitty puppies.
Mine's all in chronological order on a hard drive with the first quarter, and then where I was at, the day where I was at, and a little snippet of what was going on that day. And
okay, so that's roughly. I got a couple hard drives, and that's basically how I just did. I mean, I'll go back. I got everything dated, and then, like you say, a brief summary of what happened.
Exactly.
But just getting it in my mind to go all the way back there and start. I thought about skipping a year, but man, it's such good footage.
But
I got some cool bear in the ground and stuff.
Do you not exactly remember the day, or can you just set in a good place and say, this was back from blah blah blah, and tell the story, from the present, looking back, and saying these young dogs did this, or I went here. You know what I mean? The whatever is a good story.
That's kind of how I've got my I've got two videos that the one, of course, that's just going to be like a highlight reel, and then the one, and that's kind of the way I just jump back and forth, present time to then.
Yeah.
But in reality, I want to just scrap all that footage and start from like last week, which I'm not going to do that, but that's what I would like to do.
Just got to sit down and do it. Yeah, I know sometimes it's hard.
This is why once you get Brett talking about YouTube, and he will go for hours. He will go and go.
Kind of like
right now, we could have
about welding.
I like to see people. I like to see people do good. I mean, I do. I enjoy it.
And, you know what? I know. It's big deal is he'll tell you what to do, and then he'll say, "I need to do the same thing."
Yeah, I'm bet do as I say, not as I do.
See, my problem is right now is I'm hunting daily, and right now this time of year, there's the bear, I'm catching them pretty consistently. So almost every single day, I'm usually accumulating 4 to 5 videos a week. So, I mean, I'm getting most people need footage. That's their problem. That's not my problem. I got piles of footage. I've probably got, oh shoot, I've probably got like over 100 and some videos in the file, where I just need to go through them. And
you need an editor.
That's what I look at. Yeah. I look at guys like you or Chris, and I can just see how good they're. I feel like you guys can produce better content than I do, because you catch a lot of bears and you got that. And then Chris has 2 sets of twins that he takes hunting and stuff, and his kids and everything he does. I just think, man, they got all this opportunity to make good content, and here it's just me and my mule and a few dry ground lion hounds that. I just think you guys could do such a good job.
Yeah.
Nicholas, you running bobcats yet? Missy's asking.
Oh yeah. When I can't, yeah, it's been, it's rifle deer season right now. So I haven't been going out on the weekends, but my work has been crazy too. So it's been hard to take days off during the week, but I went out on Friday and treated a bobcat.
Cool.
And I went out the previous 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, and we caught one in a hole. So yeah, my dogs are doing really good. Finally catching stuff consistently, which has been really fun.
Did anybody notice the look on Benny's face when he said work has been crazy?
No, what was it?
Benny had to go out and get a job. Now that's why he's so. You think he was grumpy before?
Oh yeah,
he's terribly grumpy now.
It's my son's fault. I told him how to get this job. I told him over and over, and he never would do it like I told him. And so, like an idiot, I said, look, I'll go do what I told you to do, and I'll get that job. And 3 days later, I was employed.
And he's been miserable ever since.
Yeah, 3 minutes after that, he was miserable. After he realized what he did.
That's true. That's sure enough true.
I wonder when John was talking about
the.
Okay, George, thanks for dropping in, and save that link.
Yep.
Anytime you got service, holler at us and drop in and tell us a good story.
Yeah,
Good to
we'll
see you,
do
George.
it. All right. See you, Nick. See y'all later. Bye, Benny.
Yeah.
Bye.
So I got a guy who he messaged me. He said, "Hey, buddy, love the podcast. And I'm a fellow lion and bear hunter in Montana. Just finished Ed Vance's book, Trained by a Hound Dog, and was wondering if you can recommend any books that are about lion hunting to me. I know I've heard you mention a couple. I figure that's a good question for old author up there, book writer. There's one good book.
Yeah.
Hold your book up there again.
It's not about lion hunting, but it's about bobcat hunting.
Yep.
Cat Dog Chronicles by me, Nicholas Isaac. I wrote it with my own hands.
And he has an audio version on Amazon.
I got
Audible.
Ollie Barney's book, Cougar Killer by Jay Bruce, Slash Ranch Hounds, Brave by Steve Mathis, Warner stories that Terrell Shelley told. Who's that? Warner Glenn's book, Ben Lilly Tales, Hunting Grizzly. Look at that one. Hunting Grizzly, Black Bear, and Lions Big Time on the Old Ranches. That's a pretty cool book.
There's Brave.
I got Brave right there. I got the Long Walkers. There's some guy up north. You can watch this back. Onza, The Hunt for the Legendary Cat.
Stories of Cheryl Telly.
Life of the Greatest Guy, Dale Lee. I don't know why I got this one, but I got this one too. The Story of the Plot Hound.
Brave.
Steve Smith's book on scent. And then this is, if you want to know about lions, at least desert lions, and you don't mind reading scientific jargon, Desert Puma, Evolutionary Ecology and Conservation of an Enduring Carnivore. But they had collars on lions, and they tracked them and kept track of them for, I forget, how long was it, Benny? Like 15 years or something like that?
Was that Ken?
Ken Logan, yeah. Kenneth Logan and Linda Sweener. It's got...
I think it was... Wasn't it 20 years?
I don't know. I've been through it a jillion times. It's really got some amazing things about, their travel habits, where they went, how they traveled through the mountains, what they killed. It's pretty cool.
What about Soul Among Lions?
I've got it here somewhere too.
I had breakfast with him yesterday.
When the Dogs Bark Treed by Elliot Barker. Call of the Wild, Dale Cameron.
Have you ever read Path of the Puma?
I don't think I've read that one.
It's by Jim Williams. It's pretty good. It's more just like, it's not necessarily about hunting so much. It's more about like, biology and stuff. It's good though.
No, there's... I don't know. There for a long time. Anything just mentioned it, I tried to read it.
Troy, our internet is kind of weird tonight. Benny, why are you wanting to move to Arizona from New Mexico?
Want to go home.
I want to go home. Yep. I want to get back to country that's a little more hospitable towards people in general.
Where do you live now?
I live in southeast New Mexico.
We're a real liberal state, to say the least.
Well, and we're also
I don't
one of
know
the
anything
most
about that.
Were you in
We're also-
California?
No, I'm in Oregon.
Oh, Oregon. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're also one of the most financially depressed states in the nation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's
I've
been
been-
good for me. I've been
I-
here.
I've
been
been
here
financially
35 years.
depressed for a long time. I'm used to it.
But I don't like the wind, and we're in the wind. The wind blows all the time. I'm on the plains. So
Like that guy said, does the wind always blow this way here? And he said, no, it doesn't. Sometimes it blows the other way.
yeah, it blows all four directions over here, and sometimes
At the
it
same time.
spins. Yeah.
It's been windy here too. Real windy.
Yeah.
But
Get
it
it
calms
quiet.
down at night.
You don't have a clue.
Oh no, I had a place in Winslow. I'm gonna tell you, Winslow or Snowflake. Man, it's bad.
Where Benny is out on those plains, I mean, it does. That wind blows out through there.
Relentless.
In the spring, 80 miles an
crazy.
hour.
Dang.
80 miles an hour.
We get some bad winds here where I hunt, and it's bad because then all the trees start falling over.
Oh, wow. Dangerous.
Widowmakers.
Yeah.
Yep. That's probably one of my only when I'm out camping is when you got a tent set up somewhere, your trailer, whatever, and you're around a bunch of big trees, and you never know. I've seen them big, nice, healthy pines rip right out of the roots. You know, especially if you get a lot of rain, and then you get that wind, you definitely don't hold them in. So.
Yeah, I like camping in clear cuts for that reason.
Yep. So.
Hey, Brett.
Yes.
John Klump wants to know when you're going to go interview Tony.
I haven't heard from Tony for a while. I got his menu. Oh, I forgot to share. I got Lion Thesis by Roy McBride. And Meet Mr. Grizzly. I forgot all those over there. Gila County Legend. I haven't talked to Tony. I had some messages, I don't know, a few months ago from him on Facebook. But
when is their jaguar catching season? Like when do they do real good, I wonder? Winter,
they don't have
summer.
No, I think he's been working on a study, I think.
Yeah. So they're collaring them, right? Oh, and then there's another jaguar showed up in Arizona supposedly. I read a little something on it.
Yeah, that was from January. I think me and Brett know that jaguar.
Is that the ones you stole the kittens off of?
No, we just milked that one. We needed that. We needed jaguar milk for the kittens that we already had.
Yep.
Hey, yesterday at breakfast, I had a good visit, and you really need to take the time, and I want to go with you because this guy, I'll bring the stories out of him. When he was game warden, there was a.
Wait, hold on. Just stop right now. You ate breakfast with a game warden?
Cut him. I told you he's undercover. Cut him.
He was a turkey biologist.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. That just kind of scared me.
He was a turkey. He wasn't a game warden. He was a turkey biologist. But he did a lion study. He did probably one of the first lion studies over on the Spider Ranch.
Really? Who is it? Can you say his name?
Yeah. It's the guy that wrote Soul Among Lions, Harley Shaw.
Oh, Harley Shaw. He's right up here in Hillsboro. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was.
Yeah, I've talked to Harley a few times. And I got his book here somewhere.
But anyway, Harley hunted out of all the old timers the old guys that are all gone except one. He hunted with all of them except for Warner.
He hunted with the Goswicks a lot, didn't he?
He hunted with the Goswicks. He hunted with Dale Lee. He hunted with Bill Workman. He hunted with all those guys.
I'll be dang.
And when he was working for the Game and Fish, I think it was the Desert Fox they called this guy that escaped from Florence, and he was running all over, and he ended up being up in Chino Valley, and Harley heard on the radio a deputy call for some backup. He found this guy, and the guy shot the deputy, and he shot Harley too. They did apprehend him, but Harley got shot in the deal.
I'll be dang.
Stories.
Make a plan. Let's do it.
I was on the phone with my son, and he was on duty. And the thing when you're an on-duty peace officer is if you come up on any accident, you have to stop. He's like, oh gosh, dang it! And I knew exactly. And there was no one there, so he had to stop and do his duties, you know. But I don't know why I thought
Hey,
of that.
Another thing Harley told me that he just located, I think he has 3, I don't know what if they're VHS or if they're on disc or what, but he interviewed some of the older guys, like you met Rink Goswick, right?
I
You
haven't.
saw who
No.
he was. He was there. Him and Scott Derringer were at Terrell's together talking.
Oh, okay. Okay. I probably seen him. I didn't know who it was.
Yeah. Well, Rink, George has 3 of these interviews, and he said he'd be willing to give you those interviews.
Oh man, that would be great.
I said George. I meant Harley.
Yeah, no, I knew. I knew who you're talking about. Yeah, if I think I have his number right here. Let me check. I'll tell him Benny told me.
Benny says so.
That's it. You should tell him that I said he could spend the night at his house.
Yep, right there. Harley Shaw.
Brett's gonna have to do a tour. He's gonna have to do a tour. He's gonna have to go around and do a bunch of interviews. I got a guy who pay him to do some interviews too.
I need to get his number too.
Yep, I'll send it to you. Yep. You could probably take a whole month and do a big circle and just
pound
do
them
a bunch
out.
of interviews. Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. I'm kind of like Nicholas right now. Now it's hunting season, so it's hard for me to get away. Day after tomorrow, our high is only going to be 73 degrees. So I'll be.
Still seems kind of warm.
Not for down here.
Not when you're used to 110.
Right.
I told my dad, man, it was killer up here, like 80 degrees yesterday, and he's down in Phoenix area. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm dying up here. But I cut a bunch of firewood, got my old lady ready, and we built fire for one night, and I think that was it. It just got warm, but it's supposed to drop down the end of the week. I think our high is, I don't know, our low was supposed to be 27. But our highs are 55. Tomorrow's 55, 54, 63, 65, in the 60s. So it's supposed to drop down.
Are you going to be out lion hunting, or are you chasing bears again?
Well, both. Well, I got to jump down to Phoenix tomorrow and do some PI stuff, and then I got to jump over to, I got to go to California.
Don't come back brainwashed.
Oh, Nicholas, don't worry about Dandy. Don't worry about Dandy. Don't you about to ask.
Look at, he just rattles.
He's trying to win an award for most comments or something.
All right.
Just lonely. What's going on there?
I said he was going to go 82 comments ago.
He'll deter the conversation to welding here in a little while.
Well, he already tried up above.
Hey, I'm a really good welder.
Oh no.
Bag, you're it.
He built.
Yeah. Start answering his questions now. You want to know what rod, what?
Yeah. Let me just give Dandy
So,
your
Chris-
number, and you guys.
Please don't.
Chris, where are you going
Please
to be
don't.
this weekend?
I should be here.
You still have those
You
kittens?
going to be there?
Yeah, you're supposed to come pick up the Oslet kittens I got.
I can meet you in Heber for breakfast Sunday morning if you go early.
That sounds good. I'll just
I'll get together.
cancel.
Hey guys, I probably got to get going. My dogs are going nuts.
Nicholas, thanks. Don't forget hold your book up again.
Yeah, and thanks for
Yeah,
literally.
That's available on. Oh, sorry.
Book. Thank you.
That's available on Amazon, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's the only place to get it. Amazon. If you search my name, Nicholas Isaac, or Cat Dog Chronicles, or you can go to my website, houndontherun.com.
Everybody, we've had over 100 people in here. Everybody needs to buy 3 copies so they can give them away for Christmas.
That's right. Make good Christmas presents.
There you go. And
Even
then
if
he'll
they're
have
not
another
hunters,
book
I've had a
out.
lot of-
Like 2 weeks before Christmas, he'll have his other book out because we've motivated him to get it done.
Yep.
Oh, it's not a lack of motivation. It's just tedious. The tedious stuff just wears me out.
I
want to go hunting.
that.
So.
Oh yeah, that's
why
like
I haven't got any
videos.
videos out, because editing videos is, oh man, I kind of hate it.
Making the videos is easy. Going out and filming is to putting it back together.
And then
absolutely.
And then the more you learn about it, the more you try to do better and you try to put it together better. The more time consuming it gets. It's hard.
Yeah, when I started, I was like, oh, I'll just start making some videos. It's not that easy. I have a ton of respect for the people who do it for the long haul, who can consistently put it out. And
you mean me?
Yeah, like you, Brett.
There
like
you go.
Brett. No,
Man,
seriously.
somebody,
yeah, you've been at it forever.
Give me a little credit here.
Awesome.
Listen, I know Brett struggled to put those videos out too. Trust me.
I actually have some good footage of catching bobcats and stuff. I just see, I have competing interests. It's like, do I spend my time writing, or do I spend my time making videos? And it's just I enjoy writing more, so that's what I end up doing more, and that's kind of what it comes down to.
You kind of got out of the video so you could do your writing a little bit and the podcast.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I invite you to the podcast every week.
Got to go single focus.
Mm-hmm. So it's not from the lack of invitation in that he can come on our podcast.
No, I'll try to come on again soon. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's fun.
You bet. Thanks for stopping in. You save that link. It works all the time.
Okay. Yeah. Same one? Cool.
Same one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. I'll talk to you later.
Take care.
Thank you, sir.
See you, Nick.
See ya.
Well, that's it. Lost all our guests.
Yeah. Probably dropped down to 30 now.
Yeah. No, they'll stay up as long as Benny's here. When Benny leaves.
Benny's already thinking about it. He's tired.
Yeah, and I got to get up at 3:00.
3:00? What do you got to do?
POS crusher took a big crap this afternoon down in Carlsbad, so I got to go down there and pretend like I'm a crusher mechanic.
My pup is treed. Pup's been treed for 2 hours, Dandy.
Nerds aren't my thing.
Hey, look there's Wayne.
Hey, Wayne. He sent me I got some pretty cool videos from him. Dogs treating.
So where is Wayne? Is Wayne in Washington, or is Wayne in?
I think he's in Montana or Wyoming or something like that. He was real pretty country. Where's Calvin at? Where's Calvin at? Calvin, can you come on? Let us know. People want to hear your stories.
Yeah, they're tired of all of our stories.
They've heard them so many times. I got to get out and try to make some new stories.
Brett, I think that StreamYard I use is better than that eCam on internet stuff.
Really? Why do you say that? What?
Yeah.
Because when I went to the paid version, that glitching it does went away. I don't know why. I don't know why.
What does it do better, do you think?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe eCam has more people on, or I don't know.
I mean, what do you think StreamYard? Why do you think StreamYard would be better than what we're doing right here?
The glitching. We've had a lot of glitching lately. I don't know if it's
only had that internet. One glitch tonight, didn't we? Or do we have more?
Everybody said it's been glitching a lot, but I don't know. When I have to go back and when I download it, I'll know, because I downloaded our last Monday night, and I was gonna try to get it to W. I'm halfway through it, but tonight's a real good one too. I might actually. I don't have to edit tonight a whole lot. I think I'm gonna download it and just send it over, because we had some good stories. The last Monday was a little slow. We had some good stories, but and then Nicholas teasing us a little bit. That wasn't fun. That's no fun for him. I think that was wrong of him.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have I think a year's subscription to this program, and I'll try StreamYard next time.
Well, I gotta check into it, because remember I told you it was $15 a month and it did good, and now my next subscription is like $400 for the year, so it moved up to like $30-something a month. So I think it's like the first year, so I got to contact them. I'm like, sneaky sons of guns. That's what they do.
Yeah, they get you locked in. And
yep. Chris, I won the first place on the chili contest, also took first on cornbread. Well, good. We will remember that on the rendezvous next year, which is probably going to be around the same time, August 22nd-ish, 4th-ish, that weekend.
Yes, sir.
So, what else we got? What else we got to announce tonight?
I don't have a whole lot. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can do this.
And for anybody, I'm going to start putting a lot of these. I'm going to start back all our old ones, and I'll start putting them on my podcast platform, which is the Chris Watson Project, which I'm going to put everything on. So you guys can be able to listen to some of these on the Chris Watson Project. And then I think Brett was talking about putting a couple of the interviews on too, but we'd like to get some sponsors for that. Costs money to go get interviews, guys.
Yeah, the lives I enjoy the lives because I get to look at Benny, but the sit down interviews, man, it's real time consuming, and it's hard, because I have to travel now. So,
and there's a lot of people out there that nobody knows. So if you know of somebody who's a good houndsman, let us know.
Yeah.
You can email Brett, which is, what's your email?
Just Brett at born100yearstoolate.com.
Yep. If you have any good guests that you think could tell some good stories, same thing. Send us an email. Glitching again. It is bad tonight. I don't know why. It could be Elon is messing with us.
Starlink, yeah.
I think Elon's mad because he wanted to come on tonight, and I said, no, we got Nick and George and John, so you have to wait your turn, buddy. Said, all right. We'll see about that. But what else? What else we got going on? Colorado. We kind of burned that one out.
Here you go.
They're still. What we got?
This is what happened to me. I'll show you the picture of the lion track here in a minute. But this is what happens when you hunt young dogs. You son of a bitch. Don't threaten me, I'll shoot you. javelina season or not. Messed up my lion hunt.
Yep. Best thing I've learned here is not to hit buttons unless you see them trashing.
Well, that's something that me and Cody talked about quite a bit, because I was talking to him at the same time. I don't catch enough lions to. I mean, pretty soon if I'm too strict on them, then pretty soon I'll just have a bunch of dogs following behind my mule.
Yeah, I think you got to be careful. I think a lot of maybe younger houndsmen, in the old days, you had to catch up and see what they were chasing. Now they take off running. And, Johnny was talking about those. I don't think I've ever had a lion do circles like a bear. And bears, I know when I'm running a bear. That the last hunt with Dirty, my dad had some dogs. They trailed them out, got lost, and that bear was doing circles. And if I wish I could have saved it on my GPS and printed it out. That bear you'd go, and go. But Dirty's 10 years old. He's been running bears for 10 years, and he knows those circles. And Dirty can pull out of those circles and find where that bear went. I mean, he has no problem with them. And I could tell my other dogs behind him, the younger ones, they get lost in them circles. And then they would take a while to find their way out. Yucky, same thing. Not as long, but he's figuring it out. But those bears, they like to go straight up the mountains and run circles up the mountains and circle that mountain on top and then come back down another side. Dirty can do it, some of them, but them bears, I've seen them. We physically set up and watched a bear do a circle, but it's just real neat to watch on that. I love that GPS, man. I tell you what, I've learned more about my dogs watching how they trail on that GPS, and even then Dirty, he was running it by himself. And I was like, man, I kept trying to beat him to the next road and he was just smoking me. When I finally caught it and he was treed up, I thought, well, maybe he got tired, So I hope Johnny don't think that every bear run is 20 minutes.
Jeez,
that's crazy. I got lucky on my bear runs this last couple weeks because the 3 bear, the one ran. It was a good hour chase. My dad was already chasing it for an hour ahead of that, and I ran, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 miles before that bear just ended up treeing, and we cut him off and got him the tree. Or that bear would have crossed that road and headed to the res. He turned and was headed to the res. He was going to go to the res. But, those dogs and he was only 100 yards off the road, so I got lucky. The second bear I caught an hour later, undercover, seen him. And I went back to where he seen, and Dirty didn't want to run it. I took him to where it was, and I don't know if it's because of the dogs were already running around, the undercover and his dogs. But then Yucky went out. He goes out a little further, and he caught that bear 200 yards. And it was over 45 minutes later that guy took his dogs, physically walked them in, came back, met me halfway, and I went back. He showed me, and it was 45 minutes later, and he had it treated only 200 yards away from where he seen him. Wow. That's that chocolate that my son shot. And that was literally 20 yards off the road, And then the third one, same thing. Got a good rig, let him go. They ran about 400 yards, and it was 50 yards off another road. And that's a good bear run. That's fun, exciting. That's great. But I've also been on bear runs where 8 hours later I find my dogs, or I've been on the res 12 miles into the res and found my dogs. So it's not all. And where they were hunting was a lot of bears.
Something else is, he was talking about such a big pinon crop. Those bears are probably real fat.
Oh,
and they didn't want to run. And they don't want to run far.
Cut them open. They're full of pinions, guaranteed.
And that was another thing with up here. We didn't have. I mean, these were skinny bears. I mean, they didn't have a lot to eat.
I had good. I had 2-3 inches of fat on the back of mine. But so I'll have some bear tamales, and I'll have some fresh 1-year-old bear meat for tacos next rendezvous.
That 10-year-old bear meat wasn't bad last time.
No, it's good. I have a buddy who said, I'm afraid to do that because I read all these stories about people dying. I'm like, well, I mean, you can tell when something's sealed. And I said, I've been eating this stuff for 30 years. I've literally been eating it 15 years later, and I've never had a problem. I'm really trying to get rid of all my 2000. I think I'm done with my 2010 stock. That's working on my 2012 stock. So, hey guys, I'm to support the $50,000 mules. You can support them.
Price of Bonnie just went up. Now she's at 60,000. I came out off the mountain the other day and I broke a rein. I rode her all the way out with just one rein. Never a glitch.
Hey guys, how good is bear to eat? I like bear. My kids have been raised on bear. When they wouldn't eat something, I would tell them it was bear meat and they would eat it. But I make even a bad bear, and even a bad bear, elk, deer, whatever you're cooking, is good with green chili and it's good with tamales. So you can always hide that. It reminds me of do you ever see Hombre? Seen the movie Hombre, Paul Newman?
Yep.
He's cooking and that Mexican lady says, it smells kind of funny. She says, oh, just put some more chili powder in it. I wouldn't eat it on a bet, but it's really, I like bear. Like I'm on a kind of a carnivore diet and I don't cut up my back straps. I don't cut up a lot of stuff no more on any of my animals. I make hamburger and I cut roast. And the back straps I used to cut in the steaks, sometimes I will and put like 8 little steaks or whatever for breakfast. But now I just freeze the back strap. Like my bear, I froze the back strap. And because it's a smaller back strap. And I just take it out and I cut it up and cook it for breakfast right then. I took a little 2.5-pound elk roast out the other day. And for breakfast, I just cut some pieces out of it. Have that and some eggs. But, I mean, and on my tamales, I bottle all my meat. I really have been bottling a lot of it. Canning, for you guys who know what bottling is. But
no, you just used the wrong term.
Yeah. Everybody else, I use the right one. Everybody else uses the wrong one. But to me, I have stew from 2010 and 12 and whatever. And I'm going to tell you, to me, it's like wine. The more you age it, and that no matter how tough your meat is, you bottle it, you put it in that pressure cooker and you cook it for 90 minutes and it sits on that shelf for a year, 2 years, 10 years like me. I'm going to tell you what, there's nothing better. There's nothing. I make those tacos. I take it out and now I put a clove of garlic in it and a pinch of salt to preserve it, but garlic. And sometimes I'll put a teaspoon of slap your mama or some sort of Cajun. I'm going to tell you what, man.
Okay, here you go. Who has been your favorite dog and tell its story? Finally, Dandy says something and has a good comment.
It's a trap. It's a trap. He's going to say, how'd you weld their dog box?
What's your favorite dog, Benny?
I had 2 favorite dogs. Derek came from the Pox in New River, Arizona. He was a high tan. And he got named because I got him from my brother. And I went over there and bought a bunch of big truck axles, whole differentials. And they rolled around in my pickup and the 90 weight fell out. And I had my pup in a wire cage in the bed of the pickup. When I got home, he looked like he had bathed in an oil bath. And my wife said, that dog's filthy like a Derek. And that's how he got named. He was pretty broke up until I talked myself into seeing lion tail going up through the rocks in the Davis Mountains. Turned out it was a gray fox. And after that, he thought, well, Dad said it was okay again. So I had to get after him. He lived till, I don't know, he got deaf, and I just turned him loose here and he got run over on the highway a mile down the road. My daughter found him and brought me the collar back, and I said, that's good enough. Then the second dog was that last dog that I bought from Larry Hendricks. What the heck was her name? Dora. Dora was as straight a dog as I've ever owned. I've never ever owned a dog that didn't acknowledge anything but a mountain lion, and Dora was that.
How old was she when you got her?
She was 8. And I gave my whole bunch of hounds and kennels and everything away. And I told that guy, I said, hey, you pay attention to Dora, and those other dogs bark and she doesn't. You need to light them up. And he kind of says, well, yeah, your dogs ought to be the best. I said, hey, well, you'll find out. And it wasn't 2 or 3 weeks later, he says, man, if Dora doesn't bark, it's not good. He says, we've trained those other dogs. They better shut their mouth. And Dora lived to be, I don't know, 14 or 15. And the day before she died, she trailed a lion all day long.
How about you, Chris? Tell us a good story about your best dog.
Well, when I got into dogs, it was in the 90s, and I had a guy give me some dogs, and then I got a divorce, and I gave him the dogs back, basically, because I just didn't have time. Then I moved up here, and my cousin got some dogs from a good line, and then he took off, so I ended up with the dogs. One was Cece, and she was a little pup, had a bad eye, and I fixed her eye. And then the other one was Luke. He was a blue tick. Cece's red tick. Luke was a blue tick. Luke was they were kind of the start of my dogs. And I only bred them one time. And I bred them 3 weeks before. I bred them the week before I went lion hunting, or 3 weeks before I went for a cancer kid down in Tonto Basin. Well, she got pregnant, and Luke got hit by a javelina hunter on the road. And so I had that litter, and so I got dirty out of him. And he looked like he crawled under a diesel, so much grease. And his back had a dirty black spot on it. So I called them dirty. And so I had to start over, And then that's when I started hunting with Elizabeth when he was younger. And I didn't have a rig dog. They did good on lions. I had Cece for the lions, but I think he's probably one of my favorite dogs because he's been around the longest. And, to the point where one day he rigged, I caught a bear with him, and he was a rig dog, truck to tree. He's probably my favorite, even though I had Andy, which was one of his brothers, and I hated his guts. But I'm going to tell you, Andy had heart. Dumb dog. I should have named him Lenny off of Mice and Men, because he's just a big, dumb dog. But I tell you what, he's the one that would he wouldn't let a bear out of a tree. And if he did, it was a fight, and why he never got killed. But he died at 10. He got strep A. Yeah, I think he got loose and got spurred by an elk or fight with a coyote and got it, and his skin fell off his leg, within days, 2 days. I wasn't home, and she sent me a picture of a sore, and I'm like, hey, put some of that pheromone stuff on it, and man, 3 days later, he just was done. So, but Dirty's been my favorite dog, and everything I have right now is fathered by Dirty. So now I need somebody a different blood to bring him back in, So I just can't find nothing out of it, but everything I have is Dirty's kid, and they're all and the mother wasn't a great dog. I got it from a biologist, and it wasn't great on lion. It wasn't great on bear. And I had an accidental breeding where she got out of the kennel and went right to Dirty and got nailed. I'm like, damn it. And I kept a couple pups out of that. And that's Lucy and Cecilia. and they're crazy about game. So I bred them again, and I got Ben and Bella, and they're crazy about game. And I mean, they're all tree, they all trail. And I bred them again, and I got Morozny and Halado, and same thing. They're great hunters. So maybe, that's why I always say that. That's why I'm not against genetics. I know the genetics is there. I'll start a fight. Oh, Benny over there, but
No, that's
there's
genetics is
genetics
just
there
the
somewhere.
lineage.
Yeah. But I think most of my best dogs, like Andy, was an accidental breeding. And every time I feel like I got 2 good dogs I'm gonna breed, I don't get the quality of an accidental breeding. I don't know why. I just got lucky on the accidental breeding, maybe. I don't know. But I have a good pack of dogs right now. But the problem is Dirty's 10 and he just takes over. He's always going. He'll run that bear. He won't stop a bear, and he's smart because he knows how to run them circles. He'll trail a lion. Same thing. He just won't stop trailing. And when he loses, he comes back, find it, and try to work it again. Almost too cold trailing. I hate when I put him on bear because he tries to cold trail bear sometimes, so I have to pull him off. But that's helping your dogs, right? So if you know your dogs, you pay attention and you know what they're doing wrong or something you don't want them to do and you want to get them ahead, and that's how you work it. So Dirty's probably my favorite dog, and he's just hasn't got hurt. He's getting old now. I can see it. I ran him for 2 weeks, and in those last few days, I just put him on the rig. But that last rig, he really wanted to go, and I let him go, and he had it caught. All the dogs had it caught, and but you just got to pay attention to dogs. But sometimes I have a dog, Halado. I didn't like him. I didn't want him. I tried to get him away. My wife said, no, keep him. That stupid dog turned out to be being a good dog. So now my wife's right for once, So Dirty's probably my favorite right now, and I'm kind of dreading him.
How old is Dirty?
Down. 10. He'll be 11 here in March.
Yeah.
And he's swollen up on a couple ankles, and you could tell he's a runner. He just runs. He hadn't been in no accidents or beat up, but that dog will go. He's a dog I'll pick up 12 miles away, and I have to pull him off the track, But I feel I got a good set of dogs. I can call them off without a leash, if I have to. I don't think they have to chew on everything to keep going, and but it helps. I tell you, when you got pups, and I killed those couple bears and got them on it, and but they were still trailing and treeing without that before they even chewed on. Some of those hadn't even chewed on a bear till last month, and they still wouldn't leave a tree. So, how about you there, Mr. Brett?
Oh, Booger and P, P's an amazing trail dog. And Booger, he trails like her, but he'll go get something caught. He's pretty straight, but and a lot of guys have bred to Booger, and there's a lot of his pups out there, and they all do good with him. So he's a good dog. Going back, I mean, Blackie and Solo were good dogs. I mean, they're all real trail-minded dogs and real gamey. One of my favorite dogs when I used to run coyotes, I had a big old Catahoula-colored greyhound dog, or what we called staghounds. And he wasn't the fastest dog in the world, but man alive, when he got to a coyote, it was he was a straight throat dog. I mean, he went straight to the throat and pinned the head, and he was amazing. I sat there and watched him. He couldn't trail a coyote fast enough to catch it, but he would trail a coyote. I mean, you'd have to get him back, because he wouldn't hardly quit if he could trail it. And I don't tell this story very often, but this is how smart he was. When I was on the farm, we used to just sit out on the backside of the arena and fly over doves. Doves would be coming by. And he was out there, and he figured out we were hunting doves. And I mean, it wasn't too long, and he was just sitting out there with us, looking in the sky, waiting for a dove to fall out of the sky. He was a pretty neat dog to be around. But as far as the trail hounds, I love P and Booger. I like Iris. I caught a lion down here on the river with her. I like her so much because she's pretty quiet. She only barks when she has it. And yeah, Jazz was a good dog. Jazz was a well-bred dog. She had the genetics. But I got mad at her, and I ruined her for a long time because we had a lion track going down into the Animus, and she took the lion track backwards. And I couldn't stop her on it, and I had to shock her. And when I shocked her, it shut her down for a long time. I mean, we were in that wilderness up there, and it's all rough country, and she was going up what we call East Curtis Canyon. It was a nasty canyon. And so I like Jazz. She was real smart, real pleasant to be around. My favorite now, I got a dog I call Suki. She's young, but gosh almighty, she's trailing things now like it's unbelievable. I just got to get her under some trees.
Is that the sister to the dog you brought down?
It's the mother, I think.
Oh.
I had an accidental breeding with her when she was young. But Suki's she's a real good dog. Real handles good. I won't keep a dog that won't handle good and that I think is dumb. I won't mess with them. I like a smart dog.
What about HB?
HB was a good dog. She's the one who got my other dogs broke off bears because she got slapped by a bear and she quit it. She quit bears completely and she just trailed lion, but she's good. The biggest problem with those, they were all quarter Airedale, Shine and HB, and they were good dogs, but I couldn't stand their dang voices. Their voice was just awful to listen to. It's like running your fingernails down a chalkboard. It just bothered me.
Oh, I hate a bad voice.
I know.
Oh my! No matter how good the dog is, that voice.
See, and Suki has that same voice that Lily. Of course, I like Lily too. Lily was a good dog. I didn't raise Lily though. I bought her, and they woo. That's when they open up woo. And Suki has that voice. It's real pleasant to listen to, and you can hear it a long ways away. So that's pretty cool. I don't know. They all kind of like that full running dog. I've never had running walkers before. And the other day we were trailing that lion. And Uno and Al, who was out there? Uno and Al and Timmy. I didn't have Booger with me. He's 10 years old, and I had him sore from the day before. So I took those dogs out there, and they were all trailing. And I noticed that running walker, he went up there and he was in front of my dogs, and I was watching him, and I thought, oh no, he's running a deer or something up through there. But then my dogs trailed right up that same little crack that he went through, and then I watched him, and that sucker, and I guess this is what you would call a jump dog. He had quit trailing, but he was up there like John Clump's dogs, Benny. He was up there looking at all those rocks and everything. He was everywhere. And I know he was trying to find it, but then when those other dogs trailed up, and then that Bean dog was trailing with them, and that's Bean jumped that stinking javelina. And then that's when they all, then the terrorists, they joined in with Bean, but it wasn't a big deal. And then it was getting hot anyway. It was already 80 something degrees, but that lion won't leave that river. She'll stay there for a while.
Yeah.
The wind's supposed to blow 20 something miles an hour tomorrow. So
yeah.
Richard, Steve and Larry had the same dogs for a long time. Larry always sold dogs. Steve always pushed people over to Larry, and Larry had a lot of accidental breedings, and Larry streamlined those dogs and inbred them and line bred them and did it all like that. Steve is probably a better dog man than Larry in the
breeder,
in the understanding breeder, and and he's more like Clell Lee. He looks for perfection in his dogs. And if you saw the hound pups that I saw this last year, I just walked in the yard and thought, well, Steve knows I'm here. I can't steal even one. But they just, to look at those little 4 and 5 and 6 week old hound pups, they look different than everybody's run of the mill hounds. And they've still got all the capacity and capabilities that they've always been known for. So they shared dogs a lot, but Steve's really a better breeder.
This Suki dog, if she, she keeps progressing and does good, I can get her bred to that high selling dog, because I need to go outside. I'm real tight with everything I got now, and I need to go outside. So I talked to Joel, and Joel said, yeah, I could breed to that dog he got that sold for so much money, and that'll be probably the last litter I ever raise. I think they'll last me until my hunting days are over, just about. So
I think
she's got to prove herself. She's got to prove herself, under a tree and everything.
I think Dandy needs to send us a picture of his dog Tree, since he keeps saying it for the
We've
last.
Been talking about it.
I'd like to see some pictures. What that dog looks like, if you even got a dog.
I think
I sent you.
You sent me something, didn't you?
Yeah, I sent you a picture of my real abused dogs right now. And then I sent you a picture of a guy's dog box that he said I inspired him on soap. Yeah. They're real.
What's that blue-eyed dog? What is that blue-eyed dog?
So that's a sister to Corella. She's kind of my yard dog. She's a coyote chasing, fighting sucker, So she kind of keeps kind of my guardian dog out there. And then a guy, I think it's Josh Miller. He said I inspired him to build a dog box. Now I inspired him to do soap.
He built a nice one.
He did. He finally got it finished up.
That looks nice. It's too bad it's on a Chevy.
Hey, sometimes it's all they got. Females,
he spent all his money on his dog box.
I like females and hunting dogs. Oh, how's your daughter's pup doing? Wayne asked me. That one's a real big puppy still. He's gonna be a puppy. The other one, the blue tick looking one, Ranger, that my buddy got from you, he's doing really good. He's trying to open up on track. I don't know what he's opening up on yet, but he's trying. He's smelling. He's using his nose, so he's a little bit more mature.
They should all. I mean, if they should all be pretty cold and be real trail minded.
So, that one Cody Lynn got, she likes to run around and play still. Oh yeah, and Cody Lynn don't have no patience. I'm all, just wait, give her patience.
Be patient. It's like that bean dog I got. I know how he's bred. He's a real well-bred dog. He's a half brother to that one that sold for so much money. And he just had been irritating me, but gosh darn, he really started working that lion track the other day. So I'm not as mad at him now. I just got to get into some better country. I'm going to have to drive.
I'm going to send you these. This guy just sent me some tags for these collars. They're really kind of cool. They're cheap. I'm going to send I'll send them to you. I'm going to send you right now.
Does he sell them?
They slide onto the they slide onto the Garmins.
Oh, wow. Illegal to remove. I like that. Send us an address.
Let me see.
Where a person can order them, or how do you order them?
Trevor Britton, is he on here? He said he's on here. I'm going to send you some more, too.
That's pretty cool.
They got a couple different styles. It's really kind of neat. And he said it's better than a marker. He said he was watching us. So he's on here. Trevor, if you're on here, tell us where we can order these. Or did he? Let me see if he put a spot. Havoc Hunting Supply. Right there at the top.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Instead of, like you said, better than a marker.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, $3 for the one. And
what's the name of
they
it?
just Havoc. It's right there on top of that picture. Put that picture up and you'll see it. Havoc. I think that's it. Trevor,
The last one you sent me?
I think they all have it. Up top, Havoc Hunting Supply.
Oh, Havoc Hunting Supply.
I don't know. Probably Google them. I don't know if he sells them or if he just knows about them. I always wanted to put Bloodhound in my pack. Have you guys ever put any Bloodhound in your pack? But man, they're so slow. Like you'd have to maybe couple.
My Derek dog was 1/8 Bloodhound. That Pock that had those dogs over there in New River, they maintained an 1/8 Bloodhound in all their dogs.
What was that guy that just died not too long ago, Benny? Had some Bloodhound in his dogs. He was kind of a what was his name?
Where was he?
Oh, I think he was over there on the western side of New Mexico. Had a car accident. He was an old man, but he still had a car accident.
How long ago did he die, Brett?
I can't remember, Benny. It's been a few years, 3 or 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. I lose track of time. I know you know him. You know his name at least.
He's not the guy from Camp Birdie. What? I can't think of his name right now. Dadgummit. I've had a hard day.
You were supposed to go to bed here a little bit ago.
Yeah, I know. I still am.
Havoc Hunting Supply.
The guy I'm thinking of, I can't think of his name right now. He's the one that sold Slash Ranch Hounds, the book.
Can't remember, but I thought he had some Bloodhound in his dogs.
Yeah, I don't know.
Guys, hold the fort down for just a minute. I got to go out and see that. Got to see that man about a dog.
Well, Benny, when do you think you'll be in Arizona full time?
I don't know. I've got an appointment with the realtor the Sunday and Monday before Thanksgiving to go look at some stuff I got picked out. I'm nervous about listing my place because the value came back so high. I don't have a clue how anybody would spend that much money on a place here, but I shouldn't be that way.
If it's worth 100, sell it for 2, and you'll get 150. Like, go high.
Well, it's already high, Chris. I've been here 30 years and I've got 320 acres. So,
yep.
Everything gets more. But I told my supervisor this morning, I said, hey, while I'm thinking about it, I won't be here the whole week of Thanksgiving. I'm going to be gone. And he says, the whole week? I said, yeah, the whole week. And he says, well, you got to go fill out one of these request forms to get the time off. I said, I'll get that from Lee in the office. He said, yeah, I see her. I said, okay, I'll fill it out, but I just telling you, I won't be here. I'll go through all of the formalities, but the bottom line is I won't be here.
One way or the other, there's no request. They used to drive people crazy when I went hunting. They're like, well, you don't have no you don't have no like saved up time. I'm like, okay, we're not gonna get paid. I said, all right, still going hunting.
And
Yeah, yep. So
no, I don't
well,
think I'll ever get dogs again. I think Tyler Klump asked me. He said, "Benny, you got all the contacts and you know all the top dogs and everything. How come you don't put a pack together and go hunt some more?" And I said, "Because when I had dogs, I didn't hunt with anybody else. I hunted with my dogs. And now that I don't have dogs, if I can get shut of this stupid job and get moved back over to Arizona, then I can go with the clumps and I can go hunting with the Glens and I can go hunting with Steve and I can go, I can go hunting wherever I want to go hunting. When you I had dogs for 35 years, and for 35 years I hunted all by myself. And
yeah.
I'm a socialite too. I kind of like to go around and hunt. Brett and I hunted a little bit, but it wasn't we just didn't spend a whole lot of time together. And you can't. I don't believe in mixing dogs. I think whenever you mix dogs, you just cause yourself a wreck.
I absolutely
Unless
agree.
Yep, unless you've hunted with those guys your whole life. I don't know how those guys back east do it. I really don't. I don't. I, when my dad, I had 4 trucks and my kids. I had 4 people with dogs, but we all kind of went separate ways. And if we had service or radio, we like, hey, I think I'm on something here. That bear I ran for my dad when he ran it already 5 miles. I was just sitting there talking undercover on a road, and he showed up and was like, I'm running a bear, and then I let my dogs down and took over. And
But
you always have a dogfight at a tree if you're there more than 10 minutes. If you don't tie them back, somebody's going to land on somebody. I don't care how great your dogs are. Sooner or later, someone's going to step on someone's toe. And it don't mean nothing. That's just their dog. Like, you know what I mean? If you got 5 people in a subway, you're all right. You got 500 people in a subway, someone's going to step on or bump somebody, and it's going to be a fight.
I imagine that's what you got to worry about with the bear dogs. But I would think mixing a pack, if you hunt the way Benny and I hunted, where you just put a bunch of dogs on the ground, you ride through the country.
Yeah. I was never with less than 8 dogs. Never.
I love to hunt with 4 dogs, but I hunt with 8. I
always do 5, 4 or 5 for sure, depending on my area, but usually if I'm on my mule, I like to have anywhere from 5 to 7.
I'd love to just be able to have 2 packs of 4, but now I hunt a pack of 8 and a pack of 6, and I separate my males and females. I run all males and then I run all females. I'll run Clara with the male. I only have 3 dogs that 3 females that still have their baby making stuff. The other ones I have spayed, so I can run Clara, and I'll run P with Booger sometimes. I mean, they're both getting pretty old, but I like to have the 2 packs, and then in my mind, I always think, well, the female dogs could get me where the lion is, then the next day I can go back with the males and get it caught, because they're a lot more catchy, I call it.
Richard, you're right. It's Pat Watland. Is that who you were thinking
about?
Pat
Watland, that's it. Yes, Pat Watland. I think he had some bloodhound in his dogs, didn't he?
No.
No.
Not that I'm aware of. Pat, and I don't think at the end Pat had a couple of dogs that he hunted with Bergen Riddle. Bergen and Pat were good buddies, and they were both long in the tooth, and they hunted together. And Larry fixed Bergen and Pat up with a dog that he had sold to a guy in Tucson. And when that dog got longer in age, he was looking to get rid of it, and he sold that dog to Patton Bergen for $3,500, and the last dog that saw them through everything was a Hendrix dog.
I talked to Pat several times. I could have sworn that he said that he had some dogs that had some bloodhound in them. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Pat was mostly full of crap.
Well, I mean, I had heard that from people before, but I didn't know.
Pat was a good guy. He was decent to be around, but he absolutely did not let any form of the truth get in the way of a story.
Well, are you in a floodplain, Benny?
What's that?
Are you in a floodplain on your land?
Yeah, and where I live, the house is not. And my wife told me that insurance said, "Hey, you guys put your house right in the right place on your whole property. That's the only place that's not in the floodplain." And I looked out there and I said, "The hell are they talking about?" And 3 times since we've lived here 30 years, the bottom of our pasture has been standing in 2 foot of water, and it's down there in the sand. And when the sand holds water, it's pretty serious.
That's a fact. Yep. What else, Brett? What else?
I don't have anything.
I am going to check out, guys. I've enjoyed it, and I stayed longer than I thought. Yes, Missy, they got hit. Roswell and Dexter and Hagerman. It was probably, let's see, somewhere around 30 miles wide. And I don't know how far from the west the rain came, but it wiped out. I was Last week I uprooted some scales and hauled them to Roswell and put them back together for FEMA to start weighing trucks coming and going. And they were talking at that point that between these 3 communities, the count they had at that time was upwards of 1,800 homes completely lost. So it's something else. It's really crazy.
I forgot. I need to change your name, Benny. I forgot that's not what we call you.
Been a while since that name was brought up.
I was going to say, I nicknamed him Tulip because he was like a flower when he was up there with me in the mountains. I thought he was going to wilt because it was so cold.
You point that out to your second wife, she'll really be proud of you.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
I'm tired too, Chris.
Yep. I think it's night time.
You
Benny?
guys have a good evening. I enjoyed it.
Thanks for stopping in like always.
See y'all.
You're always
All right.
welcome.
See ya.
We'll see you. Chris, we're close enough to 3 hours. We almost hit the 3-hour mark.
Yeah.
Anything else? You say you might not be live on Wednesday?
Depends on what time I get back. I think we're trying to leave at like 3 in the morning. Get over there. It's like 4 or 5 hour drive to where we need to go. Load up something. Get out of there. So I might just stay.
You're on a repo mission.
Kinda, yeah. So I'll take all my internet stuff and I might just stay down there and do a live.
I don't know where I'll be. I don't know if I'll be around Wednesday night or not. I need to. Huh?
I'm gonna get Dandy Florentine on and see if he can talk as much as he can type.
You need to send him a link. I'd like to look at him.
Just to see how ugly he is. He says he's always hunting, so we'll see if his dog's out there treat still. So.
All right, guys. See you next time. Thanks. I'm not going to say it.
Don't say it.
I'm not going to say it.